chat. Hi. How's it going? Happy Friday. Woo. How's it going? I'm so tired. Ugh. Ugh. Had a bandage on my arm last night because I was the new tattoo, by the way. Kind of hard to show you, but it's a little bear right there. Anyway, I had a bandage on my arm last night. So painful to take off. But yeah, hello. I have to keep this arm, actually. It's loose enough, it should be fine. Okay. Exactly. Welcome, welcome. Yes. Okay, so today we're gonna start off the day with drawing. I have a drawing I'm already working on, but I'm gonna pull it up here for us. And we're just gonna work on that and maybe listen to the Queen? Or I don't know what you guys want to listen to. How long are we streaming? It's 11:20 right now. Stream ends at 1:30, so we have like 2 hours. That's not enough time to finish the Queen's video, but we can get like halfway through it. Yeah. I am in PJs. Yes. Yes. Yeah, morning chat is always something. It's always something. God damn it. Come here. Here we go. This is what we're gonna draw. Why is it the wrong size? Anyway, you did not miss much. This is what we're gonna work on. I'll hide what we're not listening. We're not watching anything yet, but we will. We can either watch a Queen. We can either start the Queen video. We won't be able to finish it during this stream, or yeah, I'm working on a new thumbnail for Teddy for when she does gaming streams. 'Cause yeah. I don't know, have you jerked off enough to the idea of you coping about me being a woman? When in fact you've been jerking off to a man. It's kind of gay. Maybe you should go repent to God about the gay shit you've been up to. It's pretty gay of you. Obsessing over femboys. Coping that they're women. No, God, please, I promise. If it looks like a woman, then it has to be, right? Please, God, don't send me to hell. Give me my 12 9-year-olds for marriage. Like, bro, this is between you and Jesus. I don't give a shit. Thank you, Kevin. That's some bullshit. How could they? Okay, here, let me play you the replay here. I was gonna make it bigger, and then I was like, wait, this should be a thumbnail. So then I cropped it. Hello! Oh, fuck my voice. Hello! Hello, hello. Yeah, do you jerk off to it? It's pretty fucking gay of you. Again. Bro exclusively jerks off to men and copes that they're women. It's kind of crazy work. Oh, nice! Very nice. Very nice. Ugh. No, it's not for the break screen. I mean, we can use it for the break screen, I guess, but no, this is just a thumbnail. I'm just trying to make a thumbnail for her for gaming streams. I'm also gonna make a thumbnail for drawing streams that's different. But also, I'm kicking myself in the ass that I, like, erase all of that. I wish I hadn't erased that. Thank you very much. Thank you. Bro, what? Drivers from Interpol on your printer? I don't understand. So bro likes boy pussy, apparently. Bro exclusively jerks off to boy pussy and copes that it's women, when he could easily just go jerk off to women. Fascinating. Like, okay. Like, you're gay. I just admit that you're gay. Like, it's okay. It's okay to be gay. I know that your parents will disown you, but it's okay. Your parents aren't worth shit, 'cause they raised whatever you are. So, maybe they should be sterilized. For the good of humanity. But yeah, so we're just working on coloring this right now. And then I was like, I should map out the shading. Yeah, I mapped out the shading. And now we're here. Hello. Listen, if you accept that you're gay, then that is good for you, bro. It's still weird that you're coping that boys are women, but I mean, okay. Giving in denial is giving thou doth protest too much. But it is pink right now. Okay, chat, should we watch part 2 of the Queen series? Should we start it? Hey, guess what? Western culture mogs you, okay? That's why you fuckers are obsessed with us. 'Cause we mog you without even trying. We don't even think about you, and you spend 24/7 obsessing. Hence why you're here, bitching and moaning in my chat pointlessly, as if anything is gonna change because of it. Like, you're gay, you like whores, you like boy pussy, and that's okay. Being in denial about it is very cringe and weird, though. You look like a hedgehog today. Yeah, of course he is. That seems to be the type that likes to come here and bitch and moan the most and try to convert me to Islam, which is hilarious. Like, girl, you don't want me. I will ruin it from the inside, I promise you. It will become my new goal in life. I'm gonna just draw Muhammad like 50,000 times, and you guys are gonna cry about it, because it's that easy to fucking upset you. Like, Oh my god. Okay, now it's the right size. Perfect. Okay. I should. Speaking of which, dude, I can't with the South Park episode that we watched. The fact that I didn't know this before we watched it, but apparently Paramount didn't know that that was what the episode was gonna be. So fucking funny. Like, they were probably so mad. Ugh. It makes it so much better. So apparently Matt and Trey, this is what the streets are saying. The streets are saying that, so in a convoluted way, long story short, Paramount is already kind of being sued by Trump for some other stuff. I think it was Colbert. I don't remember who it was. One of the Stevens. I don't know. Whatever. They're being... Trump's mad, right? And then Paramount is fucking over South Park. They're having their whole issue with the back and forth on the streaming deal. And to get back at Paramount... Matt and Trey made that episode so that Trump would definitely sue them. That's so fucking funny. Why Western men can't raise their daughters to be good women. One, Western men don't care about having their daughters be quote-unquote good women because that is not a concept that exists for us. That is a concept that exists in your backwards, puritanical, fuck-ass culture. Two, men are not the ones raising their daughters for the most part. It is their mothers, because their mothers are the ones doing most of the child care and raising. The mothers make most of the rules around that, and that is how it has always been. Like, men are not in the homes to be doing any such thing unless it's a stay-at-home dad, in which case he's usually minding his business because he knows better. Two, we treat our children not as pets or extensions of ourselves. We actually respect them as autonomous humans that have their own wants and desires and personality. We do not export old ways onto new generations because we want them to progress forward. Should I go on? This is why your country is the way that it is and will always be like that, because you guys can't let go of backwards fucking religions that oppress more than 50% of the population, okay? Like, you're currently, I just want you to realize that you are currently at the level that we were at in like the 1800s. That is where you are at as far as social progression. So, sit down, take notes, and understand why we don't respect your opinion on how to behave within society, because you do not have any grasp of basic human decency. Like, you just don't. So, go back to where you came from. Go hire another fucking slave or some shit to use as a concubine. I don't fucking care. Go away.
Go marry your daughter off at 9 years old. Fuck off. Like, get out of here. I don't understand how you guys keep finding me. Like, you're obsessed with the thing that you claim that you hate so much. But you keep coming back. Like, sorry, I don't condone pedophilia, I guess. Sorry, I'm not okay with you infantilizing grown women and men. It's very weird. It's very weird. Anyway. Thank you, Euphoria! And yes, I always go nuclear because these people like to test me first thing in the morning, and I have zero patience first thing in the morning. Okay. Chat. Not that guy. Chat. Do we watch the Queen video? Do we start part 2? Or do we listen to some Am I the Asshole? What's the vibe? What's the move? Because we can finish the Queen video during Teddy's stream, probably. If we start it now. Yeah, okay, let's do part 2. Let's do part 2. And then we'll finish it during Teddy's stream. It'll be an hour and a half of Teddy's stream. Yeah. Yeah, exactly. He's transphobic and gay and in the closet. The glass closet. Thank you, Lemon. Let's go. I need a new window. Icky. Let me get you a link, chat. Anyway, you need to reflect on your life. Girl, I don't know you. Why would I reflect on my life? My life is perfectly fine. You need to reflect on your life. You are the one who is currently in the YouTube chat of a porn star telling me to rethink my life. I have... Sir, are you lost? Why would I do that? That's like going into a Catholic church, going up to the priest and telling him, I actually don't agree with your religion, therefore, you should actually rethink your life and your career and do something different. Are you fucking stupid? Genuinely. Like, that literally makes no sense. You should rethink your life. Okay, are you gonna pay the bills? Do you plan on paying me $20,000 a month so that I can rethink my life and do what you want? Is that the allowance that you give your sister wives? Sorry, I mean the children that you've kidnapped and forced to marry you? Is that what you pay them? Do you pay them that much a month to be your live-in bang slave? Is that what you pay them? Because I don't think it is. Something tells me it's not. Okay. Oof. Why is it cropped so weird? Brie.
I'm so confused. Did YouTube like change its aspect ratio or something? What the hell? Why is... That's so weird. What the fuck? Okay. I don't know. It works. So weird. I don't get. Anyway, here we go. We're gonna do this. Let's play. 3, 2, 1. Boop.
Bada bing, bada boop.
If you want something to disappear forever,
Okay, how's the volume?
you're gonna throw it in the trash at a military base. And it kind of makes sense. Military trash is very different from regular civilian trash.
How's the volume?
Each U.S. military base, they handle their waste systems very differently. Some
Good.
overseas bases, they have burn pits.
Yeah, the noise in
where
the
they get
background
their
is
daily
munchy.
trash. Some bases, they have
There's a
enough
little water
trash to
bowl
fill
here.
2.5 single-family homes every single day. Sometimes it's filled with medical waste, chemicals, paints, plastic, food, human feces. They just round it up into a pile in the middle of nowhere, pour jet fuel
Is
into
that
it,
what you think we
and
do?
light it
Prove
on
to me
fire,
you don't.
potentially giving everyone within like a few mile radius
Prove to me
lifelong
that you don't.
complications like asthma, if not just like straight up lung disease.
Because everything you've
They
said
don't
so
do that
far
on
is
US soil most of the
very
time.
similar
Here, there are waste
to the
systems in
talking
place,
points
and usually there are
of
daily
a
pickups
pedophile,
of trash
so
at military bases, and they get taken
weird
to a very specific
how you
military
can't-
landfill where they are then separated.
You can't
and
prove
then
that it's
eventually
wrong.
Some of the trash does end
Can't
up
prove me
with
wrong,
civilian
so-
trash. But let's say you have your entire life belongings of sentimental value, your life savings, your passport in a little baggie that someone accidentally trashes at a military base. Your
I love
odds
the
of
bada bing,
finding
bada
that
boom.
are slim.
It's so
You likely
cute.
can't even voluntarily search these military landfills. They have controlled access limited to authorized personnel only. Even if the trash is still sitting at the bottom of the dumpster on the military base, you would need a federal
right.
search warrant to go in and look for it. Which is perfect for Brian to take his phone with all of his text
Hide
messages and
the
call logs,
background.
and then his SIM card that he breaks in half. He takes those two things and he tosses them into the trash at a military base.
So
that
fucking
way,
sus.
nobody will ever be able to search his phone for anything that they might want.
Also, chat, there's a new
And there's
person
a lot
uncovered.
on that phone that
Look
people
in the
want
corner.
because Brian was there the night that John
Sorry for
O'Keefe
screeching into the mic.
mysteriously died in the front lawn of 34th.
There's another face
Brian
uncovered.
Albert,
Look in the bottom
Brian
corner.
Higgins.
The
Brian
bottom left
Higgins.
corner, chat.
which we haven't talked about at all.
Kevin Albert.
January 29th, 2022,
Chad,
John O'Keefe, a Boston police officer, is found outside on the front lawn of another Boston cop's house, Brian Albert. The night before, everyone was having a gathering
you.
there. John O'Keefe was driven there by his
Probably.
girlfriend Karen Reed, and that's all we know. Everything else is
Probably.
up for debate. Everyone inside the house states that John O'Keefe never came inside. They didn't even know that he was deceased in the front
In the
lawn until
very
next
bottom
morning.
corner.
In fact, even though there were police cruisers, ambulances, fire trucks, they didn't even know that. They were asleep. Everyone in the house at the time of the party says they never
This
saw
right here.
John O'Keefe come inside. John's girlfriend, Karen Reed, will say she saw him walk inside
the bottom corner.
to make sure that they're welcome, and he never walked back out. But this is not Brian Albert that's trashing his phone. This is one of Brian Albert's best friends. Another Brian, Brian Higgins, a
So many
federal
Brians!
ATF agent.
ATF.
Alcohol, tobacco, and firearms. But
Not
it
the
doesn't necessarily
ATF,
mean
not the
that he's,
dog
like,
killers.
higher rank. It's just a different jurisdiction. I mean, some law enforcement think that anyone with the feds
Hide
are
Chloe.
higher
Oh
than them.
no! ATF's gonna shoot Chloe!
Right, but they don't work
Run,
directly
Chloe!
together at all. They're just friends. They don't-
Sometimes they'll have mini projects together, but not directly. Sometimes they'll work at the same police
Chloe,
station
run!
because a lot of federal agents will have floating offices.
The ATF!
And they'll have like their own little desk at a police station because there's not a federal office in every town. This
Big Brian,
Higgins
Blizzard Brian, regular
wanted
size
John
Brian.
O'Keefe to come over that night. This
No-
is also the man
no nudes, Brian.
who was interested in dating Karen Reed. In fact, the two, Brian Higgins
There's a
and
second
Karen
Happy
Reed,
Gilmore? Oh, yeah,
shared
there is a
kiss
second
at
Happy
John's
Gilmore.
house. And ATF agent Brian tells Karen that he wants the real deal.
Toy Story
This
is
is all
turning
before
30.
Karen Reed ghosts Brian Higgins. He was there the night at the party, and now he's throwing away his phone at a military base. What
Trying to make me
exactly
feel old again,
is Brian
chat.
Higgins hiding? And does he have the strongest motive to want John O'Keefe dead? So that he can have Karen Reed?
And they should have named the dog Brian, not Chloe.
We would like to thank today's sponsors who have made it possible for Rotten Mango to support the Dana-Farber Cancer Institute in Boston, Massachusetts. They're a globally known cancer research center that also provides support for patients and families similar to John O'Keefe's sister, who had since passed away from brain cancer. This episode's partnerships have also made it possible to support Rotten Mango's growing team. And we'd also like to thank you guys for your continued support as we work on our mission to be worthy advocates. As always, full show notes are available at rottenmangopodcast.com. There are references of driving under the influence, alleged physical assault. Please watch at your own discretion. This episode is part 2 of the 4-part series spanning both of Karen Reed's trials.
Bruh.
Episode 1 is up now, and I'd highly recommend going to watch that. It kind of establishes the lay of the land. And I know that every single
Should do an
episode
Adam
is
Sandler
just going to be
cosplay.
a deeper layer of suspicion. So it's like, okay, everything you thought we knew in episode 1, it actually gets deeper and darker in episode 2. Even though we're covering some of the same territory, the way that people are talking about specific things, it's very fascinating. The way that these witnesses testify. So if you've seen it or you're coming from that episode, you may notice that a few more people have been added to the wall. We're going to be adding more people as we get deeper into this case. I just don't want to overload you with faces right now.
Thanks,
but before
Queen.
we do that, I am going to do the briefest of brief recaps. So please go watch that. There's just no way that I can recap everything for you. Before we get into the quick recap, in order to cover the vast span of both trials, so there were 2 trials for Karen Reed. The Commonwealth of Massachusetts versus Karen Reed. There was one trial, ended in a mistrial, and then a second trial. In order to cover both, many quotes and statements from testimony and or opening closing statements have been shortened and condensed for brevity. If you feel like someone that should be on the wall isn't on the wall yet, it's because
Are you drinking the
I got a
kitty water?
system for it. It's either
Stop
coming in
drinking
the
kitty
next
water.
episode
This
or
kitty
the last
water, you
one,
have
which
your
is
own
gonna be
water.
part 4. Any speculations, accusations,
have
and
your
allegations
own.
discussed are
You
representative
drink it all,
of
and then
medicine
anytime
theories
we
that you
leave,
can
the
find
kitty's out of
publicly
water.
online. We
That's not
maintain
nice
that
to
all
the kitty.
individuals are innocent until proven
You
guilty
gotta stop
in a
drinking
court of
kitty
law.
water.
Most importantly, I do want to be very clear that John O'Keefe ultimately lost his life. Our team in no way, shape, or form are purposely trying to shift importance off of his death.
Recap
Rather,
50
and I think,
Bryans.
quite frankly, please be aware that John not being the primary focus of this case as a whole is more of a reflection of how this case has been handled and presented by the authorities involved, and not the way that we were researching this case. So with that being said, let's get into the brief
She's like, girl,
recap.
not my fault.
January 29th, 2022, Karen Reed calls 2 people. The first one is Jen McCabe, and the second one is Carrie Roberts. And she tells them John O'Keefe, her boyfriend of 2 years, has not come home last night. And she's freaking out. It's like 5 in the morning. They were getting drunk last night at a bar. They were all hanging out with friends. Jen was there. Carrie was not, and she's freaking out. She doesn't know what to do. She calls them. They start searching for John. They go back to John's house. They're searching here and there. Karen is allegedly a mess the entire time. She's screaming. She's frantic. She's hysterical. She keeps repeating the same things. Some people say that she was saying things like, could I have hit him? Other people are saying she said, I hit him, like a declaration, a confession of sorts. Eventually, they make it back to 34 Fairview Road. This is a very important address. It's a single family home owned by none other than Brian Albert and his wife, Nicole
True.
Albert, who also happens to be Jen McCabe's sister. So they're blood relatives. This is Jen McCabe's brother-in-law. They were all going to his house after the bar last night, Karen and John included. So John is in Karen's car. They roll up to the house. Karen says, hey, we get to the house, we've never been here before. We had to call Jen to get instructions to even get here. And once we get here, it doesn't look that welcoming. And like, are you sure we're invited? She asks John to go inside to check and make sure everything is good. She stays in her car. John goes inside. She's saying she's starting to walk towards the front door. And then he never comes outside. She's getting agitated. Her stomach hurts. She's not feeling well. She doesn't know any of these people. John knows them
I don't
because
want it
he's
to
a
be on top
Boston
of my
cop.
other line art.
Brian Albert's a Boston cop. They're all cops. Karen, she's an asset manager. She's not a part of this cop world. And so she decides, I'm just gonna leave him because he's kind of making me mad. He hasn't checked up on me, he hasn't opened the door and said, come in, he hasn't texted me. So as she's driving home,
But like,
she leaves
why?
a
I
series
still don't
of
understand the
very angry
motive here.
voicemails
The
calling
motive is
John
the most
O'Keefe a
confusing
pervert,
part of this whole
telling
thing.
him to go f
Like,
himself,
why would they
telling
kill
him
him?
that he's a loser, telling him that she's gonna leave his niece and nephew, who he has custody
Like, she
over,
kind of
home
hinted
alone, and
over
she's gonna go
maybe
back
one
to
of
her
them
own place
liked
because
her.
she's over this. She does not indeed do any of that. She goes
And
back
this
to
was
John's
to,
house
like,
where John's niece is sleeping, and she falls asleep on the couch and wakes
get
up at
her-
4, and he's still not home.
So confusing.
She calls Jen McCabe, and she says, hey, John's not home. Jen McCabe
Oops,
tells
that
her
was the wrong
something along
color.
the lines of, what are you talking about? He never came to 34 Fairview. So Karen naturally starts freaking out, calls John's childhood best friend, who he also went to prom with, Carrie Roberts, and they go on like a little early morning search party through a blizzard. This is blizzard conditions at this point. It wasn't last night when they got to 34 Fairview, but it is this morning.
I
They
really
start driving all
hope
over the place, and
that-
Karen and Jen say,
I
Karen's
really,
weird.
really hope
As
that
they're
she
driving
gives
back to
us
34
some
Fairview,
motives
they
this
say
time,
that
because
Karen
I'm
just starts
so
screaming,
confused.
I see him, I see him. She's kicking at the door to get out. She runs outside
Exactly.
into the snow,
It's
onto
not
the
like there
front
was
lawn of
another Brian and they were
Albert's
trying to
house, and they
cull
just
the
see a
Bryans.
mound of snow. They get out the car, they say they move the snow off, and there is John O'Keefe laying in the snow. Paramedics are called to the scene. Police officers are
I
called
still
to the
think like
scene,
maybe
and it
he was on to
becomes
like
this
some
whole ordeal
corruption
of initially
in the
people
police
thought-
force,
well, people didn't really
and
know
he
what
was
to
gonna
think.
blow the
They just knew
whistle.
that a police officer was
Right?
found
Like,
deceased
that
in
feels
front of
like
lawn
the
of
most,
another
like,
Boston
why
cop,
would they
and it
kill
doesn't
another
make any
cop?
sense. He's got some injuries
Like,
to
they're
his
all
head and his
cops.
arms that don't make any sense.
So
It
why would
doesn't
they
make sense
protect
how he
someone
ended up
killing
in the
one of
front
their
lawn.
own?
Did he go in the house?
Unless
Did he not go in the house? That's the biggest
they had
debate.
deemed him
When
not
law
one of their
enforcement
own for
officers,
some
they start
reason.
interviewing witnesses that were inside the house,
And
they
if
all
he
say
was
John
turning
O'Keefe
against them 'cause they were
never
being
came in the
corrupt,
house.
that
So
would
that
make
must
sense.
mean that Karen is the last person that knows what happened to John, right? Was she saying, no, he went into
that
the house?
or one of them is
Who are we
jealous
to
because
believe
he's
in this
dating the
situation?
girl.
You would think maybe it's numbers. Maybe it's all the people in the house. There's
And
a
maybe one of
handful
them wants
versus
her,
just Karen, right?
so they're getting
You
him
would
out of the
initially
way.
think that. However,
But why would the
everyone in
other
this
cops
town is
support that?
connected.
That's
All
why
these
it doesn't make
investigating
sense to go with
officers
that
here
one,
in
I
this dark
think.
blue color, they're all somehow friendly with the Albert family. The Albert
Or it was
family
accidental,
is the most
yeah, but then
well-connected family in the little
wouldn't
town
you
of Trenton,
just
Massachusetts.
make up a
His
story that
brother,
was like
Kevin
more
Albert,
of an
is a
accident so that
Canton
no
police
one was at fault
detective.
and then it was
His
just
other
ruled an
brother,
accident
Chris
and then no
Albert,
one would get in
is
trouble?
one of 5
It feels like it
Canton
wasn't that
selectmen
much of an
who
accident
oversee
if
the entire
this is what's
Canton
happening.
Police Department. Then the state troopers. So there's many different law enforcement agencies that get involved. The state troopers, they're not Canton PD. They're Massachusetts State Police, right? However, they are all somehow
Girl, my
connected
father
to Julie
is like
Albert,
way more of
who's
a man
Chris
than you will
Albert's
ever be.
wife.
What are
So
you
they're
talking
all
about?
Interwoven,
Me and my dad are
interconnected. Everybody went to high
besties.
school with one another. Everybody's kids play on the same baseball team together.
He supports my
Everybody is
degeneracy,
friends
okay?
With everybody except for Karen. Karen is not friends
He
with
is
any
in
of these
full
people,
support.
And all of these people have now decided that Karen ran
Yeah,
over John
really.
O'Keefe in the front lawn.
My parents
of
are
another Boston
married.
cop's home,
They're very
drove
close.
home,
Great
leaving angry
relationship. My
voicemails,
family
and
life
left
is
her
incredibly
boyfriend of 2
solid.
years to die on the
Like,
lawn.
my
That
entire
is the
family
biggie.
supports me.
But is that
Extended
really what
family,
happened?
grandparents.
February 26, 2022.
My fiance's
so this
family.
Is almost nearly exactly
Like,
a month after John O'Keefe has passed.
it's-
At this point, Karen has
you're
been
barking up the wrong
arrested,
tree there.
Released on bail. So there's a lot developing.
Some
but there is
people
this
just like
picture
living
taken of
differently
3
than
guys
you.
At a bar.
You need
And
to
the only
accept
one that
that.
matters is the guy in the middle. And these guys,
You will
I
be a
don't know
much
if I can call
happier
them guys. They
person
look
when
incredibly
you
young. They look like
gain
boys.
the
Now, the guy
perspective
in the middle, he's
of
got a black
Jesus.
baseball cap
Like,
on backwards.
genuinely. I'm
He's
gonna
got
come at
both
you
of
from a
his
religious
arms
angle.
around his friends. They
Jesus
look like
preached
frat
to not
boys.
judge
And his right
people
hand, if you look
because
at his
you are
right
not
hand,
God.
his right
And you have
knuckles
no right to judge
are
any
just
of his
bright
creations.
red, pink.
You did not
Knuckles
create
are
it.
pink.
You don't understand.
pink.
It is beyond your
danger?
understanding.
Yeah.
It is something
Well,
that only
how
God
would
can
your knuckles get
understand.
pink?
And it is
punch
not
something,
for
right?
your
You
mere
gotta punch
mortal
something
mind
very
to
hard for them to
understand
stay pink,
all
right?
of God's
Yeah.
Now,
vast
that guy in the
creations.
middle is none
Okay?
other
Humble
than
yourself.
17-year-old Colin Albert, son
17?
17, son of Chris Albert and Julie Albert. So this is the nephew of Brian Albert.
What color should the chair be?
Brian and Chris are brothers.
Uh-huh.
So this is the nephew of Brian and Nicole Albert, and netizens think that this 17-year-old was the one that killed John O'Keefe that night. And Karen's attorneys
No,
seem to
babe,
think
you're
so
the
too,
cuck.
because defense attorney Alan Jackson, he gets up on the podium and he starts asking Colin
Polka dot
on the stand,
yellow?
because Colin is called to testify by the government. What happened to your knuckles?
I feel
in
like
this
yellow
picture?
would be a good color.
Colin is sitting on the witness stand. He looks like a regular fraternity brother, but
No,
he's dressed
black's
in a
not one of her
collared shirt with a
colors.
sweater on top.
It's gotta be her
giving
color
defendant,
palette.
but he's on the witness stand. I was at a party.
I think
a house party
mostly
my senior
yellow
year,
with a bit
and
of
I
blue
remember
and a
it
bit
being
of
icy
pink.
outside, and it was kind of like a steep hill of a driveway, and I was walking up the driveway. So he's walking up an icy driveway, and I slipped down the driveway. I tried to catch
do it.
myself, but I had something in my left hand, so I tried to brace myself with my right hand, but I ended up landing straight on my knuckle. So he's
What?
slipping on the ice, and he
Who the
lands
fuck
on his
does
knuckle.
that? That doesn't even make
Story.
sense.
Like this. And your
How?
reaction
How
is
would
the
you even
reaction of
land like
everyone,
that?
including Alan Jackson, who says, according to you, you fell on ice and injured your knuckles.
Oh yeah,
as we
also
just
this
saw in
is the Teddy
photograph,
Chan tag I was
just
talking
go
about, by the
across
way.
top of your knuckles.
It looks like one of the
So you fell onto what? Pavement,
the
asphalt?
Beanie Baby
Yeah.
tags.
And you braced
But
yourself.
it's Teddy
When you
Chan.
fell, your entire body weight by putting your right hand down in a fist, and you injured your right fist, just the top of
So,
your knuckles,
new
on your right
merch.
fist when you fell down. Correct.
And
At this
if I
point,
can
Alan
figure out how to
Jackson
ship
is
things
known
and
for
not
being,
want to kill
a
myself,
pretty
then I
aggressive
can do
cross-examiner
actual
during
physical
all of these
keychains at some
trials,
point.
because he will make a lot of comments that he's not allowed to make, and the judge will keep the judge, Auntie Bev.
Yep,
will
that's
keep
what I was
having to strike
thinking.
his comments,
That's
because at this
exactly what
point,
I was thinking,
his
Lemon.
story is so ridiculous. Alan Jackson hits him with a seriously.
And you braced yourself and you fell your entire body weight. by
Okay,
putting
I'm
your
thinking
right
that
hand down in a
the
fist,
main
and
chair
you
is gonna be
injured your
dark
right
yellow.
fist, just the top of the knuckles on your right fist.
Like this
when you
part.
fell down.
Correct.
Seriously?
Objection, Your Honor.
Sustained.
That's his question. Seriously?
Seriously?
You fell your entire
Objection, Your
body
Honor.
weight on your right
Sustained.
fist, and you just injured the top portion of your knuckles. You didn't break a finger. You didn't break a knuckle. You didn't sprain your wrist. Nothing? Correct. You ever been in a fight before? The defense shows yet another photo. There's a picture of Colin with his arm around another person, and his knuckles are scratched up again. And it's always just the right hand, so it's not the
Okay,
left
but
and the
why
right,
would
it's
this
just
kid
his
get in
right hand.
fight with him?
And that picture was apparently taken just a few days
Like, this
after
is
John's death.
super fucking
So there's a picture
sus,
taken a few
but
days
it's
after John's
also
death where
kind
his
of
knuckles are
circumstantial,
pink.
because
And
I'm
then
like,
another
what's the
one taken
reason?
a month after where his knuckles are pink. Now, why
What's
is
the
this
reason?
relevant? That's what everyone's trying to figure out. Because initially, when everyone inside the house during this little blizzard party, January 29th, 2022, nobody
This area,
mentions
this
Colin
area.
being inside that house. He is never mentioned, not once,
so sus.
by any of the partygoers. Well, actually, one partygoer. This one right here, Julie Nagel, friend of birthday boy Brian Albert Jr. Julie Nagel does mention to State Trooper Proctor that Colin was in the house that night. You know what State Trooper Proctor does? He omits that from his initial reports. So it seems like every single person involved does not want Colin
Yeah,
to
I know.
be at the
It's
house.
like dealing
So
with
how did
someone
we
in a
find out
cult
Julie said that?
or like someone
Karen
who's
ends
been
up hiring the private
brainwashed. It's like
investigator, and they start going door to door to try and see if there's absolutely
pity them.
anyone who saw or heard
You pity
absolutely
them.
anything. And this is when
'Cause they
local
can't
mentions. So
conceptualize
his
anything
daughter
outside of themselves.
allegedly dated
And it's
Colin
just
Albert
such
at
a-
one point, and she was talking about how he was there. He was there at 34
Unfortunately,
Fairview
sheltered
that night.
mindset.
And so Karen is like, that's actually
know?
crazy because nobody puts him there at all, ever.
It's
Is
like
that
they're a small
information usable in
child.
court, or is it
Honestly,
just
like they have the
their own
mindset of a
little-
small child. It's
I
like
think
really
it came out
sad.
before the trial happened, so eventually everyone was like, "Oh yeah, he was there. Yeah."
I see.
So when everyone testifies now, they're like, "Yeah, he was there, but he left exactly at 12:10 a.m., which is before John O'Keefe even gets to the house."
It's like they
so
never
there's a lot
grew
that people
out
have to say about Colin Albert,
of
but it is confirmed he was there the night that John O'Keefe died.
that mindset
So
that kids
why is
have
everyone
of
leaving him out of the initial witness list. Like, is that
always
intentional?
wanting
that also
to,
doesn't
like,
explain how in 2023, so this is a year
make things
after John's passing,
the same
during a
and not
federal grand
change.
jury,
A lot of kids have a
Colin
really hard
shows
time
up.
with change.
He's forced to be there. He's forced to testify,
So.
and the person asking questions.
Girl, I'm not gonna
notices
talk to you on
that his
Discord.
knuckles, specifically his right hand knuckles,
Are you okay?
straight up.
Still?
You would have to pay me
it seems
so
like
much
another
money.
injury just to his right hand.
What?
Now everybody's wondering, how often does this little kid get into fights?
Also,
And
I don't
did he get
need
into
to
a fight
defend
with
my
John
job.
the night that John died?
It simply
Is he the one that everyone here,
exists
all the McAlberts, are trying
and
to
doesn't
protect?
need defending.
Or
Because there's
are they trying to
nothing
protect
bad about it.
Brian Higgins.
Was Colin Albert the only person that everyone's omitting?
Hence why Jesus,
or-
again, was friends with
Yes,
prostitutes.
and there is
Nothing wrong
an
with it.
invisible car
Just a
with
different way
Brian
of life.
Higgins. So there's a lot happening.
It's the oldest
with these
profession.
two. And people have different theories. Some people
And
think
it's very
the
prevalent in your
McAlberts are
country, so
protecting Brian
maybe read
Higgins.
up.
Some people think the McAlberts are protecting Colin. Some people think it's a combination of both.
Okay.
Because there is a picture of Colin with swollen knuckles, but there's also a picture of Brian Higgins.
And you know how I can say
stopping
that
by the
confidently?
Canton Police Department
Because it's prevalent
right
in
after
every
leaving the
country.
party. He leaves 34th
Every
Fairview
country,
Road.
without
He's
fail.
off duty.
Maybe
He's
not
drunk,
Antarctica,
and he
because there's
drives
just
to
like
Canton
not that many
Police
people there.
Department.
But I bet you
He's an
anything those
ATSA, but he's got an
scientists
office at the
are
Canton
hiring
Police
somebody to
Department
come
because
keep
his
them
best friend
company.
Is the chief of the Canton Police.
So middle of the night,
Yeah,
he went into the office for what?
1 a.m. He goes into the office. He says he's going in there to move his cars, but he spends quite a bit of time in the police station. And on
It's
top
probably
of
just,
that,
like,
There
online.
is some CCTV footage that is released, and some people have zoomed in, and they believe that his knuckles look a little swollen and red.
Okay.
There is this reality show. It's a TV series called Boston's Finest. It lasted 2 seasons.
It is
It's
fun.
about Boston police officers.
Actually,
Now,
they
I'm just
all
gonna
end
give
up in
you a
jail in
quick
your
recap
country.
of all the different
No,
law
babe.
enforcement
The
agencies
ones
investigating
who get
what and
caught
were involved in this.
end up in
So
jail.
you've got
Also, the
Boston
fact
Police,
that you're like,
which is
no, they go
John
to
O'Keefe
jail,
is a
like,
Boston
so
police
you're-
officer, and then Brian
so you
Albert
agree.
is part of Boston PD.
It's
He is
prevalent
the
in your
head of
country.
the fugitive unit.
Glad
Where he
we're on the same
was.
page.
And then you've got
I didn't say anything about
Canton
legality.
Police. This all happens in the town of
I
Canton.
said that it's
So they
prevalent in
commute
every
to work
country.
in Boston, but this is 30 minutes away in Canton. So the chief of police is Kenneth, and then a lot of these people in dark blue. So Sean Good, Paul Gallagher, Michael Link. These are all Canton police officers, as well as Kevin Albert. And then you've got the Massachusetts State Police.
So are
you went
all of
from
these
local
agencies
town, then you
corrupt
got
with
big
each
city of
other?
Boston, and then now you
That's
have
what
the
I'm trying
state
to
of
figure out.
Massachusetts. You have these 3 state troopers, Tully,
Oh,
Buchanan, and Proctor. Proctor, do you remember him from part 1?
Yeah.
No Nudes Proctor?
No news so far.
Oh, that's
Exactly.
no nudes.
Okay, so these
No
are the
nudes
3.
Proctor.
And then you've got a 4th agency. The feds, the FBI,
Is
are
the
investigating
FBI the only good people in this? Because that's
investigation
crazy
into John
work.
O'Keefe's
If it's the
death. They're not
FBI.
even just investigating John O'Keefe's death.
No,
They're
babe.
investigating
No, babe.
The
It's-
investigation into his
It's
death. because all
everyone
these
from
people
every
are
different
shady.
class
Every
and
single one
creed,
here,
all
maybe
genders,
not the
all
people in
different
the white
backgrounds,
but all the dark
everyone
blue, wall of shame
prostitutes.
at this point. And we're
Okay.
gonna get more in depth in part 3 because the way that these people are
Nobody is
connected
exempt.
criminal.
No
And
group
then
is
the
exempt
dark
from
blue
having
background
prostitutes.
Are the ones that's currently working on the case, and the
Yes.
light blues are the officers that's not
Again,
investigating
you
the
live a
case.
very
But they
sheltered
are
life if you
involved
don't
in
know
the
that.
case.
Right.
Yes, so the dark blue are investigating officers.
Mm-hmm.
This show is kind of like a documentary. It's
Like,
like
do
a
you
day in
think
the life as a Boston cop? I mean, with a
that
lot more
the
background
wealthy
music.
billionaires
It's
are
filmed
paying
really well, and
for
featured on there consistently
random
is
orphans?
Brian Albert, a much
No.
younger Brian Albert. He
They're
is the
paying
owner of
other
34 Fairview,
rich
Boston cop, head
people.
of fugitive unit. In the show, he says a lot of really intense things. Like he gives a lot of.
They want
quick
someone on their level.
one-liners.
That's part of what they're
Violent
paying
felons, they will do just about anything to get away. Some are going to try to run. Some are going to try to hide. Sometimes it's diving out windows. They're going to do whatever they can to avoid capture. Throughout season 1, you see Brian Albert trying to lead his team and make sure they're not in trouble. And he says about conducting search warrants in people's homes, it's one of the most dangerous things you can do is go into somebody else's house. He says the person you're looking for, that's
Okay.
their castle. If they wanted to assault you, they know the places to hide. Sometimes you take a deep breath, you stick your head in there and just hope that you don't hear a pop. They explain that finding fugitives is very meticulous work. I mean, you're looking for
I'm
people
gonna
that
have
other
the
cops
light
couldn't
yellow
find.
be
He
the
says we're the unit that gets
stripe
called when somebody's
around
wanted for a
the whole
serious crime.
chair,
Mostly
and then
violent
the
crimes,
bottom,
and
like,
they're on the run.
plastic
That's our
part.
specialty.
I
That's the
think I'm
purpose
gonna
of our
have be
unit, and we do a
pink.
pretty good job at it. It's not easy, but there's a method to the madness, and he gives a few tips throughout the show. So in the show, Brian Albert states, the rule is simple. You follow the
Let's
love
debate.
interest.
There is no debate.
Brian Higgins.
Nothing to debate.
AKA
I am correct and
ATF
you are
Brian.
wrong.
He's a federal agent in
And
the alcohol,
that
tobacco,
is as simple
firearms,
as
and
it is.
explosives.
There's
It
nothing
feels
else to
like
say.
Nobody really knows what an ATF agent does. Some say
They shoot
that
dogs.
they take down massive gun running organizations. Others say they do that, but they don't actually do anything. So they're basically a federal gang agency, is what they say. You can interpret that however you want. Some people interpret that as
They kill
take
dogs.
down gangs, because gangs are often, they typically have violent
Or they kill dogs.
firearms and other weapons in their possession, or
They kill dogs.
they're a gang of agents,
They kill dogs.
and they basically just shoot dogs. There have been numerous incidents where pet dogs have been injured or shot and killed during ATF raids. And do you remember Waco?
Thank you,
ATF
Queen.
had a 51-day standoff with a cult in Waco, Texas, and ultimately it ended with 70 people dying, including children, and some of the first shots fired by ATF were aimed at the pet dogs in the compound. And it's becoming like this running joke in law enforcement communities, apparently.
You never
when
shoot the
the ATF
dogs.
comes, hide your dogs. ATF Brian is stationed in Canton, but he's a federal agent. He does not work for Canton PD. He does not work for Boston PD or with the state troopers.
Right, like, bro, I'm not gonna
He is
debate
familiar
you
with
on
a lot of
Discord.
them, though. Like, he's friends with all these guys. These are the people that he hangs out with because he lives in
Do you think my
Canton.
time
And he also
has
knows
no
John
value?
O'Keefe. They've known each other
Because-
for maybe a year. I mean, they've never
No.
really worked together, but they run in the same circles. They go to the same
I know
bars.
that
That's how
your
they've
time
met.
has no value
Now,
and
I
you're
have no
okay with
idea
wasting
how
doing
friendship
that,
works
but
in
like,
this small town, because
oh my God,
ATF
no.
Brian says that he wasn't that close
You'd have to pay me
John,
like
but exactly 2 weeks before John's
thousands
death,
of dollars
ATF Brian is
for me to
over
put up
at
with
John
that.
O'Keefe's house watching a Patriots game. There's even text messages from that night where John and ATF Brian are texting. John is like, was it really necessary to introduce Hennessy XO? ATF Brian is like, was I really playing video games? John says, I blame Karen. Please tell me I didn't break your nephew's video game. If I did, I will replace it. Did I throw a controller or some shit? I don't think so. Which makes it sound like they had a good
Weird.
night. Just boys, watching sports, getting drunk, breaking things. But it's also the day that ATF Brian, Higgins, and Karen kiss behind John O'Keefe's back. So exactly 2 weeks before John O'Keefe's passing,
Or-
they share a kiss inside John's house.
Interesting.
How did we find out about that?
He tells us.
In
I
court?
guess I'm talking
yeah.
to a wall
So
here. Some people don't want to
January
change.
12th, 2022.
Yeah, why?
This
What
is-
gave you the
Like 2
impression
weeks
I
before,
wanted to
right?
Yeah, like
change?
2.5 weeks before
What
John
gave
O'Keefe's
you that
passing,
impression?
At around 8:27 p.m. he gets a
Literally
text
nothing
message.
about
Brian
me is
Higgins
giving
gets a
off
text
that
message from
impression.
a random number.
So,
The text
you are
reads,
delusional.
Hey Brian, it's Weed Whacker. He texts back question mark. What do you mean, Weed Whacker? But ATF Brian is testifying. I mean, I kind of knew who it was because that was my nickname for her,
Oh.
Karen Reed.
Like,
he
you
says it's a
came in
funny
here and
story. He
decided
was
you
driving
wanted
around
me
in
to
his work car,
change.
so all the windows are tinted, and he
That
sees
does not
Karen
make it
outside using a
open
weed whacker
ground
with
for
the little
you to
machine
try
that
to
cuts
do
the
that.
weeds. And he honks
You're
at
weird
her,
and
she flicks him
delusional.
off. She has no clue who it is. It's just like a random
Like-
person honking at her. So he drives
Oh
back
my
around.
God.
He U-turns to be like, "Oh wait, hey Karen, I'm John's friend Brian, ATF Brian. I didn't mean to like freak you out." But she starts screaming at the car, not knowing it's ATF Brian, and she says, "Get the fuck away from me! My husband's a Boston cop."
That's so
ATF
funny.
Brian rolls the window all the way down, and that's when she's like, "Oh, okay, never mind."
She's like,
"You're John's
"Fuck
friend.
off."
I didn't know."
This was a while ago?
Yes.
Or? Okay.
So that is why she gets the funny nickname of Weed Whacker. And she texts him,
Okay.
"Hey Brian, it's Weed Whacker." He responds, question mark. And I will say that every single text message in this thread is read out loud by Brian Higgins, who has a very strong Boston accent. It's a very interesting combination of his very seriousness and his red face, but also the nature of the text messages are uncomfortable. Because I don't know why they text like teenage kids.
Hey Brian, it's Weed Whacker.
He texts a
No,
picture
they're different.
of a Smirnoff screwdriver. It's an
ATF
alcoholic
Brian is
beverage,
different
and then
than
capital
Blizzard
Y-O.
Brian.
There's no response, and the next day, "Did you try these Smirnoff screwdrivers? I stopped at the Hilly, which is a local restaurant, for one last night."
I said, haha, how did you get my digits? Defendant responded, the Melissa and Lido show. I said, haha, I thought you creeped John's phone. I said, haha, again.
Haha. No way. And she does that girl with the crossed arms emoji. I was the last person in Greater
God,
Canton
they're
who
so
didn't have a
cringe.
number. I think even Carrie has it. Side note, not Carrie Roberts, a different Carrie. And he's like, what? I just don't give out my personal number to anyone. How would Carrie have my number?
What color
I don't know.
that
Melissa
said.
had it. Eventually, they start talking back about the nickname. And she says,
The defendant said, I prefer
I'm
weed
screeching
whacker.
at some weird
responded,
religious
"That's the thing
zealot
about
in chat,
nicknames.
and then
You
we're
don't
watching
have a
part
say."
2
I
of
believe I was
the
referring to nicknames.
Blizzard
I know, they need to happen
cop
organically.
death
I'm the queen of nicknames.
dead snowman cop
Wait, so they met, I'm assuming,
that we
months
started
ago?
watching.
They met months ago at a bar through John
On-
O'Keefe.
Mm.
So John O'Keefe
Monday?
and ATF Brian run the same
When-
circle.
Tuesday.
And John
When did
O'Keefe
we
would
start
introduce
watching it?
Karen to all of his friends.
Yeah.
And so Karen's not really part of this cop world. It's through John O'Keefe that she meets all these people.
Yeah. And one day he drove by, beep, beep,
Tuesday,
they
yeah.
talked, I'm
Yeah.
assuming. Soon after, Karen texted him.
Mm-hmm.
And they sound flirtatious.
Very flirtatious. Karen just changes the topic abruptly. We were tossing around the idea of a short vacay with another
She
couple.
might have
Wanted
messed
to see
up.
if you were game. Vacation where? I was just gonna rent a beach house in Fort Lauderdale, something quick and easy. I'm the queen of vacays too. Always a good time. He's like, I'm going to Nashville next month, 19th to the 21st,
Trying
for
to
a
think of
benefit.
what
One of our
color
guys
this
got
should be.
shot in the head. You guys should come. It's like a crazy text message to send.
That color?
Later on January 13th, Karen sends a picture of a guy struggling to use a weed whacker and texts ATF Brian, "You're not a creep." And he says, "Nope, you're kind of a loner," which I used to be. "No, not really. I have tons of buddies, but I only let a handful of friends in that I'm tight with. So you think you've got
Okay.
me all figured out?" Karen says, "Yeah, I said loner, not
think I
loser.
like the
I assume
blue.
you know a lot of people. You can never really figure anyone out completely. Your
Yeah.
dad died when you were young? Question mark, question mark. He died in March of 2020. I'm so
Dude,
not a
why is
loser.
it glitching
You won't
so
figure
much
me out.
today?
LOL. No one's a loser. I just didn't mean loner to imply friendless. I'm sorry, that sounds
Dude, he's so
recent.
mad.
It wasn't COVID, was it? Cancer. I know you date girls who don't lock the house behind them and you're private and observant." And then she says, "I'm sorry, what kind?" So they're having like simultaneous conversations talking about his dad's passing, but also talking about Brian's dating habits. Lung, brain, kidney, pelvis. How did you know all those things?
What an odd
You're funny.
conversation.
These text messages are a lot.
Yeah.
Yikes, wow, that's rough. Jesus, I'm sorry. We chat a lot at the hillside. Don't be sorry. Life is hard sometimes. I always figure it out. Who chats? Life is hard, but losing people is the hardest, so I'm sorry. We chat. That's all you got? We chat? Sure. I mean, you're from Brockton, spit it out. You and I chatted about the girl who kept forgetting to lock the door. Oh, she's been out of play for like 3 months now. And so they're like having this flirtation of talking about people that are, quote, out of rotation in ATF Brian's circle of girls. Yeah.
Yeah.
And ATF Brian finally tells her that he got a Saturday invite from John O'Keefe to come to John O'Keefe's house that Saturday to watch the Patriots game. Karen is like, "Did you say yes?"
Bro, just
Not yet.
so
What
many
did you say,
Brians. So
Mr.
ridiculous.
Lucid?
I responded, "No, I just don't want to intrude on your couple's night. Haha, I'm shy."
We prefer to hang out with non-couples. Bob Gallery is probably coming too, solo. We'll probably play cards or something at one point, so I'm inviting you.
That.
Haha. Later, Karen texts him, "John said,
And then I
quote,
think this is
Brian's
gonna
being
also be this
wishy-washy."
blue.
Haha, did you tell him you texted me?
Wait.
No.
Do it on the other
ATF
layer.
Brian gives a thumbs up. And this is when we head into very, I would say, Karen is a little sensitive to the word affair because she's saying, you know, I'm not married, John O'Keefe's not married, we're not married. It's not really an affair. And she also says that John O'Keefe was allegedly flirting with other girls too, so she feels like it's affair is a strong word. But we do get into
She also
that-
doesn't
that
seem
emotional
that into
cheating
him, I'm gonna be-
territory
from those
where
texts, I'm gonna be
she
honest.
says, "Well, don't be so anti-couple. Most couples don't even like each other." He says, "Name a few." Name a few. I don't know all of them, but they all want to hang out with single people. Later in the messages, it seems like this might be when he comes over for the Patriots game because ATF Brian texts Karen, "Foul ball." She texts him, "You stink." He says, "You suck and you're double trouble."
Defendant responded, "You're hot." I responded, "Are you serious or messing with me?" Defendant responded, "No, I'm serious." I responded, "Failing is mutual. Is that bad? How long have you thought that?"
So this is Brian.
guess
He's like,
this
"I
should
also
be-
feel like you're so hot. Is that bad because I'm friends with John O'Keefe? How long have you thought about that?" And she's like, "Are you okay driving? You don't want to just stay here." So Karen is offering for Brian to stay at John O'Keefe's house with them.
They sound drunk, right?
Yeah. I'm fine. I have an office at the police station. You didn't answer the question. She says, I'd rather you stay here. ATF Brian testifies on the stand that as he's leaving John O'Keefe's house that night, he says goodbye to John, and John might have gone to use the restroom or something. He's not entirely sure, but he says, as we were walking out, the defendant planted a kiss on me.
So as I was exiting the house, and as we were walking
Did
out,
she
the
plant a
defendant
kiss on you, or was it the
planted
other
a
way
kiss on
around?
me.
Because
He's asked by the prosecution, Lally, how did she kiss you? Not like a friend. He says it was lip to lip, like a romantic kiss. ATF Brian says he was taken aback because it just was not something that he was expecting. And later he texts Karen.
Hey, Omar, are you also a pedophile? Because that sounds like something a pedophile would say.
Where did these feelings come
Now
from?
prove that you're not
I
one.
just think
Thank you.
you're like me. Meaning?
I see
you
that
have your
bro
own kid?
called his pedophile
And no
army
kids,
to
how
come
am I like
defend
you?
him. It's an odd
Hello?
choice, but
Aren't we alike?
I hope
think so.
he knows that makes
so why did
him
you get
just
my
seem
number
like
and reach out
more
to me?
of a
Shoot straight
pedophile.
with me. I told you. I just think we're alike. Yes, agreed. I don't know.
This one back here.
Shouldn't you know? Brian admits that he's had a crush on Karen since the first time he met her, and she responds with, this is like the most lukewarm confession of a crush. I don't know. You're just my type. You think you can handle me? I thought you were happy. How do you know if I'm happy? I just assumed. Are you hard to handle? What do you like about me? And this is when Karen has sent the now viral text message where Brian says, what do you like about
Wait,
me?
what?
And Karen Reed
What about
responds
dragons?
wholeheartedly, I just feel like you're from my neighborhood.
What do you like about me? Defendant responded,
I
I
don't
just
know- I
feel like
don't-
you're from my neighborhood.
Wait, what does that mean? Like,
Nobody knows. It's like the most lukewarm confession
I don't-
of interest that
Oh,
the world
I
has
didn't watch
ever
My Little
heard
Pony.
in
I don't
a
know.
murder trial. Like you have like
I'm
very
useless
passionate
there.
text messages
Yeah.
that the prosecutor's trying to bring up, and it's just like, I feel like you're from my neighborhood, and people didn't know how to respond.
I feel like
because
you're from my
the
neighborhood.
severity of the context
She,
that
like,
these text
doesn't seem
messages
like
are
she's
being
that
read
into
in
him.
Is very severe. This is
Like-
a murder trial, but at the same time, it's like, it's very hard to wrap your mind around that these are the text messages that everybody has to treat very seriously.
Right?
Because the
'Cause I'm
energy in
like,
the
this
courtroom
isn't
is
giving-
also very
This is not giving a fair to me.
okay.
so like Adam Lally just didn't follow up
Do we want
much
the
on
dark
that.
pink
No,
as the back?
she's
I
just
think,
like,
yeah.
why do I like you? We're like from the same zip code, bro. Like, what do you want me to say?
I feel like she's saying
That's
she
the
likes him as like a
energy.
friend. It's
And he
not
says
giving
ditto.
I like you.
Ditto. And she says, I just think you're hot. Brian's all, you really think that? I have always thought that about you. What? You're hot, smart, witty, but I didn't think you were interested.
Like he seems way more into
Witty?
her.
Yeah, meaning quick with a response. Tell me why you got my number and reached out to me. I just thought we were the same and from the same neighborhood. Are you afraid to say what's on your mind? This whole text
like he
message
wants her to
exchange
say,
is
like, "Oh my
very
God,
hard to
you're
listen to. I think that the government thought it was going to have the same effect
So
as
sexy, I
Michael
wanna fuck
Proctor
you.
reading out
Let's
his
have an affair.
messages of no nudes so far and all of these things. But I think the general energy of these two messaging each other, it's bad. I do think it's bad because
Like, it's not
Karen is clearly
great,
having
but
a
it's also,
relationship
like-
to some degree outside of her relationship with John O'Keefe, and she's accused of murdering John O'Keefe.
It's like
so it is bad. It is
barely
serious.
bordering on
However,
emotional
it
affair,
feels
and that's
almost
about it.
juvenile when you see this ATF agent on the
Right.
stand reading them out loud one by one.
I said, haha, how did you get my digits? Haha, I'm shy. And I said, haha. I said, haha. I said, haha again.
And it also seems like both parties are into it. Even ATF Brian, I mean, this is his friend's girlfriend, and he's just, quote, I will give you what you want. How are you texting me right now? Are you leaving me hanging? How am I texting? Is everyone asleep? I'm just wide awake on my phone. Yeah, they're asleep. I should have stayed, LOL. So now what? Yeah, you should have stayed. But he's saying that would have been so distracting. Now what? He keeps asking things like, now what? Why'd you get my number? What do you see in me? And Karen is like, now what? What? Ball's in your court. What do you want? Loaded question. What do you want? I asked you. Nope, you initiated this. Spit it out.
What?
Hey, we're single and we don't have kids. We can do whatever we want. Don't you have a boyfriend? Karen just completely changes the topic and she says, I'm glad you came over tonight to watch the Patriots game. And she does like a shy blushing emoji. And he says, me too, Ball's in your court. What do you want, Karen? You looked great tonight. It almost seems like he's a little bit more excited about the situation than Karen is. Karen seems,
She's
if
like,
anything,
what?
a little non-committal. I know that she started the interactions, but
I feel like she's just kind of wanting to
I don't
flirt,
know. As a girl reading
but
it,
that's
it just sounds
about
like
it.
she's not that into it. But you tell me in the comments.
Yeah, I agree.
And she's like, I looked great. You're so full of it. I think you're hot. I've always thought that. Just never revealed my thoughts. And Karen says, I'm hot for the hillside, the area. Low comps. Knock it off. You're hot, period. Are you glad you walked me out? So he's now asking about the kiss they shared. And she's like, yes, smiley face, are you? And it's just, the whole thing is uncomfortable. And he just keeps saying things like, feeling is mutual. I never saw this coming. Why? Because I just assumed you were happy with your situation. I was, but things
Chaos
have
is
deteriorated.
happening.
How so? It's very, very complicated. So at this point, if quick reminder, John O'Keefe has two siblings, Paul O'Keefe and Kristen. Now, his sister passed away from cancer. She left behind a daughter and a son. And then a few months after, her husband passed away. So he took on his niece and nephew. He took custody over them. He's raising them as his own. And Karen has been dating John O'Keefe for the past 2 years now. And she says, he and I dated when we were kids. So prior to this, they had actually dated.
Oh, when they're young.
Yeah, very briefly. And then during the pandemic, Karen came back into town and he was sending Facebook messages to all of his ex-girlfriends. And Karen actually thought like, whoa, why are you messaging me when your whole Facebook page is filled with you and children? Like, you probably have a wife. And then she reconnected with him, found out that he had taken in his niece and nephew. And that's how they rekindled their whole relationship. We're going to go into that in the next part because there's a whole thing with how John O'Keefe's family interacts with her the day that he passes away. And she also gets admitted into the hospital. She gets sectioned into the hospital, meaning they think that she's a danger to herself. She says it's very complicated. He and I dated when we were kids, and then his sister died and everything got fucked up. He seems very into you. Yeah, but where is that? I mean, I've had all my shit here for a couple of years and my house has been vacant, but I'd like to get closer to the water. Are you breaking up or are you staying here? I don't know. He hooked up with another girl on vacation. I'm very close to his niece and it's all a very fucked up situation. When was that? And how did you find out he hooked up? I don't want to complicate your situation. We went away for New Year's, the four of us. So she's saying it was her, John, and the two kids. I put the kids to bed and found him in the lobby of our hotel all over one of our friends. Whatever, it doesn't matter. It does matter.
So then I said, did they bang? Question mark. The defendant responded, does that matter? Question mark.
Question
I said,
mark.
sorry, I was just asking. I was just trying to figure shit out. Defendant responded,
it doesn't really matter. Okay, I won't ask again. I don't care. It doesn't matter.
Yes,
okay, hear you
that
loud
chair's
and clear,
cute.
Karen.
Okay, I like this.
Okay. Why are you getting your thong all twisted up over simple questions? She responds, I'm not, am I? You're kind of getting defensive.
Which kind of community
Not
is
at
this?
all. Eventually, Karen asks what Brian Higgins
To be
wants,
fair,
and he
most of the people in
responds he
chat right
wants
now were like
the real deal.
not the normal
To which
chat.
she's kind of cynical. She says it doesn't
But,
exist. Sometimes it's a lot.
Chaos.
A lot why.
Chaos is what
He's
this
like
community
asking
is.
her a lot why. Because I went from being solo to trying to give attention to kids who aren't mine, and I never wanted kids. I thought you were happy in this relationship.
Nice. Hello,
Everybody
Wise.
is happy at the hillside.
There's someone normal from chat.
God, you avoid things. It's just
like
a
half
very
of chat is
complicated
normal right
dynamic
now.
with the four of us. He
The other
isn't cut
half
out
is
for what he's doing, and the
typical
kids
morning
present
YouTube
constant
chat.
issues. I think he
Okay,
believes
we
he's doing the
got
right
it.
thing. Well, of course he is, but his heart isn't in it. It's only because he was very, very close with his sister.
We gotta do nail
I know
polish
kind of
and
how
we
you
gotta
feel.
do
I was
the
married.
hair.
So Brian was married previously, and his ex-wife had brought in a child from a previous marriage. And he said that he's been divorced since 2017, and he has no kids anymore because they got a divorce. And she says, I tried very hard, but the kids are very spoiled. They're not my family. My parents keep telling me I'd feel differently if they were mine or my own sisters. You know, then I told you he got sloppy and drunk on New Year's Eve while we were away, and that's really affected me. What exactly did he do? I never got married, and now somehow I'm arguing with someone about raising kids. I roll emoji. Why don't you just tell me? He was a puddle all day, and then he disappeared. Then I found him all over our friend's sister in the lobby of our hotel, and she's gross, which I think may actually be worse.
Or-
Not sure. Oh God, did they bang? I'm
Why
not
does he
sure.
keep asking
I was with the kids, so I was with the kids celebrating New Year's without him, which shouldn't be my role, but I doubt that they did it. I mean, he was a mess. Was it the first time with her, or do you think there was others? I don't really think there were others. I'm with him all the time. He never seems to want to go anywhere without me. But honestly, the issues with the kids bother me more than him actually cheating. They are constant, and
Interesting.
it feels like a lose-lose.
I mean, that's
Genuinely is starting to feel like Karen is just using him as a therapist and not actually interested in Brian Higgins at all. And
Yeah.
he even notices that you clearly have a lot of feelings swarming inside of you. Yeah, it's very complicated. Sorry for the rant. You can vent, babe.
Oh. Wait, this is all from the night, the same
Yeah.
night?
Yeah.
Dang. Okay.
It's like in the span of 9 days they go through
Top of
all
the
of
morning.
this.
It's
And she's like, basically, I just feel
not
like
really
I spread
morning.
myself
It's
too
like
thin and sometimes it's
12:30,
thankless.
but
Now, I will say
morning.
there might be some validity to her feelings. I don't think that, I'm not saying any of these messages are appropriate. However, there were rumors in Canton, and Jen had semi-confirmed it, that everybody called Karen, and this is so mean girl coded, a glorified babysitter for John O'Keefe.
Really? How did we find out Jen said that?
Jen was like, yeah, that's what Carrie said about her. Carrie Roberts, John O'Keefe's childhood best friend.
Got it.
Now, during
That's
that
rough.
time, you had indicated that you had heard
Dude, I feel so bad
statements,
for her.
that you said was horrified you in some way. Is that correct?
So basically, Carrie is a
No
talker.
wonder she's
She
talking to
said
somebody
something
else.
Like John really loved Amy, and in my eyes, Karen was just a babysitter with benefits.
And so she's saying, I mean, you probably felt that way too when you were married.
kinda fucked up,
I did, I mean, at times, but it was one kid, not two, thankfully. Do you want to grab a drink? So they start kind of planning to hang out at one point. And there are suspicions. Now, Karen has spoken out in a documentary about these text messages, and she said it was bad. She said, first of all, she has only ever met ATF Brian.
like it's
at
bad, but
bars,
I don't know.
in bar lighting. It's
kinda understandable.
Okay? She says it's very different from not bar lighting.
It's not like
And on
full on
top of
cheating.
that-
It's
Yeah.
like
Crazy.
a
that's
slight
a crazy
emotional
statement.
affair.
And on top of that, she says
That
she's
doesn't
not
seem like it
proud of
actually went
but
anywhere.
She was just very emotionally insecure, and I can
I do have
see
pink
how
hair
that
right
portrays
now.
in the text messages. Like it doesn't feel disconnected from the text messages. There are certain points.
mind you, I
where
fucking hate
he's saying, like,
cheaters,
do you get angry when
however.
you don't get your way? And she texts him, I rarely ever get
Seems
my
like she's
way."
being
Seems like
used
all of
in
her
this
messages
situation.
are a little bit on the more depressing side. However, this
And she's
message,
just
I think,
looking for
a lot of people, a lot of
companionship more
netizens
so
feel
than
that Karen
actually
was just
cheating.
trying to use Brian to get John to like her more, or to chase after her more, or want her more. And
Yeah.
is that something that we should be doing? Probably not, but the message
Somehow
reads,
more
"John has
degenerate
showed me
when
about
the
5 times
when
the
it's
video
just
of
the
me
normal
walking you
people.
out on Saturday. My voice and accent
but a lot
are
more
killing me softly."
coherent.
Throwing up emoji.
So
Wait, John has showed Karen?
we're gonna go
Why?
Putting
until
video of
1:30,
her
so
walking
an
Brian
hour
Higgins
more on
out of
stream.
his house the day
And
of
then
the Patriots game.
I'll
That's
take a
weird.
30-minute
And
break,
he says,
and then I will see you on
what?
Teddy's
Yeah, he has cameras everywhere. You cocks,
Channel.
rolling eye emoji.
at
Like
2
the
o'clock,
kissing thing too?
which I'll have
He's
stream
freaking out. He
redirect
says,
over there when
"Jesus."
it's finished.
And then Karen says, he's like,
And then I'll be
"Christ, are
on
you guys
Twitch
hooking
later,
up?"
and
Oh my
we
god,
will
great. I don't need drama, dude.
play Hello Kitty.
No, it's fine. Seriously? I'm serious. You legit planted one on me, saying you literally kissed me.
Okay,
And
so
Karen
he
says,
kissed
I know where
her.
the cameras are anyway, duh.
Wait, so she's implying the kiss is not on there.
Yeah, implying the kiss is not on there, but I guess that they
Interesting.
were appearing friendly.
Right, right.
That John is saying something to her about it, and
Right.
the way that she's texting almost seems like that was the purpose.
Right.
It's
like-
kind of the vibe.
Yeah. Like she's not bothered by it. Like, hey,
Yes.
by the way, John was jealous about it.
She's not like keep it on the keep it
Yeah.
up down low. Don't say anything. He's already on to us. Like she's not saying any of that. It
Yeah.
almost seems like it worked. Is the energy of the
Yeah,
text
and Brian
messages.
is
Interesting.
feeling that too, right? You
Yeah.
planned it on me, like.
Yeah, he seems a little more startled than
Yeah.
Karen does. And she says, "I know where all the cameras are." And
Yeah,
he's like,
she's
"So your
definitely just
slick
trying to make
move
him
wasn't on there?"
jealous.
Of course not. Oh my god, I almost threw up. It was just a peck anyway. I kissed Carrie and Gay Jeff too. Yeah, weak. I agree. He's saying the kiss was weak. LOL, funny. So now he's jealous of me? No, I told you he likes you a lot, which makes it worse. You said or did something at the bar last week, and he goes, I like Brian more and more. He's a good dude, too. Yeah, he is. Funny. What's your end game?
Yeah,
What do
it
you want
sounds
from
more
me?
like she's just
You
trying to
will
make him
just
jealous, not
confuse
that
the
she's
shit out
actually
of
trying to have an
yourself because
affair.
I'm a lot of fun. And so Karen is just like, what is happening right now? They start texting about how they're maybe going to go out for drinks or go to each other's places for drinks. Karen even says, I'm 42. I know what happens when you invite someone over for a drink. He calls her a master of avoidance, and they have this little like back and forth
So she's saying she knows
So
what
Karen's saying that I know what
happens, and then
happens
she's
if we go
not
to
going.
our houses, and she's not saying
So that-
yes to the house.
Yeah,
She does
what he just said.
eventually go to ATF Brian's house, and he says it was really uncomfortable and awkward.
Okay, so definitely not an affair.
Like I said, it was this type of like
Worst
what is this all
affair
about?
ever.
And then she left.
Like, they just repeat the same conversations that they were having over text message. And again, this is why a lot of netizens feel like, was it appropriate for Karen to do this? Absolutely not. Was this a good thing to do? No. But it does indeed feel like she is not interested in
Yeah.
Brian Higgins.
The
I agree.
intention, not the intention, what is it? Is there a motive, for example, for Karen to murder
John O'Keefe?
for another guy?
That's
No.
kind of, yeah.
Text message, yeah.
Yeah,
So that's
no,
kind of how
not
the
at all.
prosecution is showing it.
Right.
Like, she's ready
Like,
to
this
move
is
on. She
not
doesn't
anything
like
to
John
kill
O'Keefe.
someone
But
over.
when you actually read the text messages, it's kind
Like-
of, it seems like she maybe likes
Yes,
John O'Keefe a
there
little
are
too
bats.
much.
Right. There's
Tiny
no
bat there.
passion, there's no...
Yeah,
like-
I don't know what
and
Keaton
maybe
is.
it's toxic. I think that's a
Keaton has
subjective word for a
ditched
relationship.
me.
Some people are like, no, I would do the same thing. Some people are like, that is crazy. It's toxic. But toxic doesn't mean you're a killer.
Right.
Yeah.
I guess is where a lot of people are confused.
Yeah, this seems like a whole lot of nothing.
Warm weather, vacation plans, backyard barbecues, and endless possibilities, good and bad. You know,
What do you
summer
guys
should be your
think?
escape from stress, your time to recharge and make memories. But summer
It feels
can
like
also
it's
be
just
the
kind of a
peak
nothing
season for
burger as far as
life-changing
the
accidents.
affair,
A pool party
in
at your local
quotes,
community
goes.
pool can end in a nasty slip or with you face to face with wet concrete. I've been there. I've done that.
It has a hue
Music
today.
festivals, beach outings.
kinda cloudy
sporting events,
today.
even pickleball,
Might be why.
recreational pickleball can be dangerous. Anywhere people gather to celebrate summer.
Anytime it's a
accidents are
little more
waiting to
cloudy, the
happen.
neon
That's
sign
where
next to me
Morgan
kind
and
of
Morgan
puts
comes in.
pink on
They
everything.
have over 1,000 attorneys nationwide to help you get back on your feet and get your summer
Like,
back
when it
on
gets
track.
dark,
They
it gets
recovered
very
over
pink in
$25
here.
billion, billion with a B, for their clients nationwide, and they don't back down when it matters most. One recent client received $29 million after being offered just $500,000. I mean, there's a reason they're America's largest injury law firm. Hiring the wrong firm can be disastrous.
made the mistake of
Hiring
watching
the
a fucking
firm
video on
could
JoJo
substantially
Siwa.
increase your settlement. If you've been hurt this summer,
And
you
now
can
her
check out Morgan &
fucking
Morgan. It's
song is
free
stuck in my
unless they
head.
win. Just click the link in the description below or visit forthepeople.com/rotten. That's FOR thepeople.com/rotten.
Like
Or
the
click
way you
link
cried
in the
on my
description
feet,
below.
and you know
This
what
is
I
a paid
mean, and you know what I
Brian even asks,
Why?
so he's cool with you dating other
Why is
people?
it just that part
I'm
stuck
not
in my head?
happy per se, just realistic. There's cracks. So she's saying in her relationship with John, and it's far from
Literal
perfect.
torture.
I doubt it. If he's seeing someone else, I wouldn't want to know either way. He probably feels
was
the
just
same
watching
way.
a
And you probably
video
feel that way
on-
about whoever you hook up with. I think it's normal.
Someone
And all of
reacting
this
to
comes
JoJo's
to
recent
a
shit.
climax where she goes over to his house
And they play a
share
clip of the
drinks, and they
song.
have this same conversation, and Brian says it was awkward, and she just eventually leaves, and it was just a weird vibe. There's a few more messages exchanged where it appears that Karen is pretty fully checked out until he texts
just
her
rude.
at the waterfall. The night of, right before they all go to 34 Fairview, Brian Higgins is at the waterfall bar. He came
Why
with
would
Brian
it
Albert,
shame me
Karen and
to
John
goon
show
to
up,
me for free?
and Karen
That's just
ignores
proving
it.
my
Per the
original
CCTV
point
footage, per
that you are
testimonies,
gay
she doesn't go
and in
anywhere near him.
denial
John
and
says hi to Brian
coping.
Higgins. Karen does not. She
Like,
does not want to talk to
a
him. She
lot
doesn't
of my
want to say hi to
content is
him, whether
free.
it's she doesn't want to make John jealous now or whether she just is so over him. It's unclear.
Like,
but
that makes
he
no
texts
sense.
her,
That's not the
well,
win you think
dot,
it is.
dot,
You're
dot.
just
She
still
doesn't
proving
respond.
my point.
The next day, around noon, Karen texts Brian Higgins for the very last time. January 29th,
I don't view people like
2022,
you
around noon.
as
She texts 2
customers.
words. John died.
So
Brian Higgins
I would expect
never
nothing
responds.
less.
Wow.
Initially, netizens thought that this motive was for Karen to kill John O'Keefe, but that doesn't make sense, like what the
Yeah.
prosecutors are saying. So first of all, she texts ATF Brian, and she's talking to him about how she saw John kissing another girl on their New Year's Eve trip, which more on that later, but she says that he cheated on her. So by a lot of people's accounts, it seems like this text message is some sort of toxic revenge plan or an attempt to get John to pay more attention to her. Other people also point out
I agree.
that the prosecution is saying that Karen killed John in a crime of passion, if you will. They got into a fight
Yeah,
in the
but then
car
that
in
doesn't
front
make
of
sense
34 Fairview.
timing-wise.
She ran him over. It was a drunken
Like,
fight.
why would she do it
However,
then?
people are saying if she
Also
wanted to
Google
kill
Maps.
him, it would have been on that New Year's Eve trip. When she thought that he was hooking up
Porn
with
is
another girl.
evil and destroyed
That would have
many
been the crime
lives
for
if
the
you're
crime of
weak.
passion. Not in front of another Boston
If you're weak
police
and
officer's
pathetic.
house in the middle of the night out of nowhere. And second,
It also
netizens
makes
think
lives
that the
better,
prosecution
so
just
I don't really
wants
see
to
your
paint
point.
Karen as being overly jealous, thus pushing her to be homicidal. She doesn't seem. I mean, she seems jealous. She seems perhaps a little
Like, your
toxic,
mindset
but
has
it does
destroyed
seem
many
like
more
she
lives than porn
never
ever will.
really bad mouths John ever.
Porn has destroyed
It seems
maybe
more
like
so
10
the
lives
circumstances
max.
are rough. And she's
Like,
upset, but it's
you'll
never
be fine.
this like very vile, like I hate this guy. He can't fulfill me. Like there's nothing negative per se. So while the prosecutors are trying to paint this as motive that Karen has to want to kill John O'Keefe, the defense are
Welcome,
saying
Mr.
actually
Mom.
all these text messages
How
do
does work?
is prove that ATF Brian had motive. Because wouldn't he benefit the most if John O'Keefe is out of the picture?
Yeah,
This is
if
kind
he really
of a side
likes
note,
her.
but a lot of people also point out the fact that Karen and John had previously dated. They ended up breaking up and then reconnecting over the pandemic, where they actually
Yeah.
started seriously dating for 2 years. That, to a lot of people, feels like Karen is not the type to be like, if I can't have you, no one can. Because they had already previously broken up once before. So it doesn't seem like she has this fixation on him that's like, only I can be with
Wendy,
you or else.
if you're
So that's another thing
weak
that people
and
have been pointing
pathetic,
out.
maybe.
But on top of that, based off the text messages between Karen and ATF Brian, it seems that John knows
says
that maybe
more about
Karen
you
and
than
ATF Brian
porn.
have a thing. And a lot
So,
of netizens have theorized perhaps
self-report.
John was lured to 34 Fairview, where Brian Higgins decides to confront him, and he is backed up by his best friend.
actually, porn made me do
Boston
this. Yeah, did
cop
porn have a
Brian
gun to your
Albert.
head?
And that is how John ends up dead. So whatever
Did porn have a
happens
gun
inside
to your
34
head?
Fairview,
Did they? Did
nobody
they force
thinks
you?
it's
Or are you
premeditated.
weak-willed and
Nobody
pathetic?
thinks this is like this masterful plan.
Because
these are
explain
cops.
all
They
of the
know
people
this
that
is not a good plan.
don't
However,
come
maybe
away
a fight breaks out, a punch
being a
is
worse
thrown,
person
he ends up
after
dying
watching
from
porn.
a fatal wound.
Like, I
And now these
promise
cops
you,
are like, "We gotta
people
do
who
something." That's
consume
the
porn
theory
on a
of
daily
people who buy into the
basis
conspiracy
have
that the
more
McAlberts
solid
had something to do
morals
with it.
than most
A big
people
point of
who
contention
oppose
in this
it.
case is John O'Keefe's injuries do not make sense. With
Like,
the
there is zero
prosecution theory.
correlation here.
Karen reversing
That can be said
into
about
John
literally
O'Keefe,
anything.
Him getting hit by her passenger side taillight. So, right side taillight. He spins backwards, hits his head on the semi-frozen
I watch a lot of
ground
kids
because it's
shows,
about to
therefore I
snow,
thought dogs actually talked.
incapacitating
Like,
him, leaving him dead.
I don't know what to tell
in
you,
the
bro.
snow.
Maybe you're
That's
just
what the
fucking
prosecutors
stupid.
are alleging Karen did. In the next episode, we actually go into the accident reconstructionist, which you would think in a trial, that's like the boring part. That's the part that nobody really cares about. There is so much unhinged drama between these accident reconstructionists.
Yeah,
the
David, they are
prosecutors,
always
the
like
government,
this.
the
It's
Commonwealth.
very
They hire a
annoying.
bunch of accident reconstructionists. The defense
Constantly
actually
trying
uses
to
the
preach at me.
accident reconstructionists that were hired
Like, you
by the
stepped
FBI,
into a whorehouse
and
to
they go
preach. That's a very
head-to-head.
odd
There is
choice.
so much drama of
I don't know
some of these
what
people
you thought you
lying
were
on their
changing.
resumes, some of these people not even understanding their own
I don't know why you
data
thought anyone would
of the
agree with you
accident
here.
reconstruction, doing experiments that make zero sense. One of the guys is like, yeah, I tested it by using a freezer. I put the phone in the freezer. And they're like, do you know what freezer temperature it was? No. You don't think that's like the basic thing of like knowing the temperature if you're going to stick it into a freezer and see how it responds to being stuck in a freezer? He's like, well, I didn't think it mattered. I mean, these people are absolutely
fuck?
ridiculous. It's like every single person, I don't know what is
How?
happening
That's like
in
the
this town,
basic,
but the
like
injuries
the most
themselves,
basic
they
shit
don't
of the
make sense with
scientific
car
method.
accident. Netizens think it lines up more with someone who's been in a fight. Dr. Scorty Bello is the medical examiner. She is the one that performs John O'Keefe's autopsy, and now she is on the stand to tell everyone her findings. While autopsy photos are shown, Paul O'Keefe, John's brother, is seated And like I said, this is a very small courtroom. Seated, I mean, I'm not in the courtroom, but it just appears like...
A few feet, right?
Yeah, and he's just staring down Karen the whole time. Dr. Squarty-Bello notes that John O'Keefe has a
Exactly.
small
Purity
cut to his
culture
right
is
upper
all about
eyelid,
control. It has
abrasions
nothing
on
to
his
do with
nose,
morals.
bleeding and
It has
swelling
nothing to
of
do
both
about
of
like,
his
oh,
eyelids
we
and
must protect
eyes.
the
He
X
has these
group.
weird cuts on his arms. They
No,
look
you don't actually
I saw
care.
the photo.
It's a
It's
facade.
like throughout his whole
It's a
arm.
facade that
Yes, and
seeks
they're all
authoritarian
almost
control.
linear.
Yeah.
So
And it
it's
won't
not
stop at
jagged
the things
everywhere.
that you have
it looks like if
deemed
you were to get, and I'm going to try to
unacceptable.
use an analogy
It
that's
always
not
seeks to
applicable
control
this case.
more.
If you were to get, you know,
There
those
is no
leaf
line that it will not
rakers,
cross.
and then you were to just slice someone's arm, because there's so many up and down his arm.
And that is why,
It
even
kind of
though
looks
I
like that.
heavily
He just has
disagree
these weird
with all of these
lacerations on his
archaic
arm
religions,
and a few
I would
bruises on the back of his
never,
right hand, as well
ever
as a small scratch
say they
and
should be banned.
vague bruises on his left
Because
hand. Bleeding under
they
the
shouldn't
eyelids
be.
usually is an indicator of
If I
something
disagree
really
with
bad.
something,
They're
I
called
can just
raccoon
vocalize
eyes.
why I disagree
And
with
Dr.
it
Squarty-Bello
instead
says,
of
bleeding
trying
around
to
the eyes could
enforce
signify
my
that there's a
disagreement
much
onto
larger
others.
injury inside the skull, and it's not just bleeding of the eyes, which is exactly the case here. Ultimately, the cause of death for John is a giant laceration on the back of his head. That is consistent with blunt force trauma, aka hitting your head against a blunt object. It could be a microphone, it could be a dumbbell, it could be a
I'm
stick,
so
it could
curious
be the
how he
ground.
died.
It's just something that's not sharp. So it's not a stab, it's blunt force trauma. It could be the edge of a table. And Dr. Squarty-Bello states that the injury to his head would not have instantly killed him, but it would have likely incapacitated him. It caused a fatal skull fracture. He had hemorrhaging, bleeding in the brain. And if he's out in the snow, then the hit to the back of the head incapacitates him. That's a cause for hypothermia. So she believes the laceration to the back of the head and hypothermia is the combination that caused his death. In comparing the blunt force trauma versus the hypothermia, Dr. Squarty-Bello says, I do believe the blunt force trauma injuries were sustained first. These are not injuries that are immediately
Omar,
lethal. This is not something that would cause
You don't
death
have
in
any brain
seconds,
function, and I
therefore Mr.
don't
O'Keefe may
care
have been
about your weird
incapacitated by
preaching,
injuries or
so
knocked
I'm
out,
gonna
if you
just
will, and was not able to
pick
get himself
you
into warmer
because
environments, and therefore hypothermia
you
set
have
in.
no value.
So in my
You're not even like
opinion,
funny
I
to
believe the impact
rant
of
at.
the
You're
injury
just
to
a
the
weird
head came
pedophile.
first.
So
Mr.
goodbye.
O'Keefe was likely incapacitated or unable to move into a warmer environment, and then the hypothermia set in.
So she's assuming that he got injured outside the house.
Well, no, because it's vague.
Oh.
If that trauma comes first, then yeah, I mean, he could be injured outside the house, but a lot of people say it's vague enough that he could have been injured anywhere and then taken somewhere where it's cold and he can't get up and move.
Got it.
Prosecutor Lally asks Dr. Squarty-Bello,
Now, doctor, with respect to the head injury, specifically the fracture, what, if any, opinion can you give or can you say in regard to the type of force?
When did I
or amount
ever
of
say I
force,
wouldn't ban you?
necessary to cause the fracture to the skull that you observed with regard to the surgery?
Did you think that
Can I
you
say
were
something
free
about
from
Mr.
banning?
Lally?
No, bitch.
this man
I'm keeping you
asks the
around
most
right now because it's
convoluted
funny.
questions I've
Okay, I
ever
can
heard
ban you at any point,
spoken in
obviously.
court. It's just kind of ridiculous.
I never
don't
said that.
understand any of these questions. He makes every single question so complicated for no reason. She responds, I can't really
I've
give you a
simply
number. I'm
chosen
not a physicist.
to not ban
I can
you.
tell you that the skull is a pretty thick bone. It takes a
Oh my
considerable
God,
amount
are
of
you
force to
actually
fracture the
fucking
skull.
slow?
So that was a pretty considerable impact. Prosecutor
I
Lally
meant
wants the jurors to
legally
know
ban something.
considerable
I mean, the
impact,
government should
like a
not
car reversing at
ban it
24
from
miles per
existing.
hour.
I never
But
said I
that's where
wouldn't ban it
everything
from my
stops making
chat.
sense.
You're
Wait, so he
actually
said that
fucking
car
stupid.
reversing at 24,
He
or
keeps
he's
hinting
implying.
at it.
Oh
Yes,
my
he keeps
God.
implying it.
You're
Why
fucking
24
dumb.
miles per hour?
That
Oh
will come
God,
in the next
chat,
episode,
he's
but it's
fucking-
the data pulled from Karen's Lexus.
I can't say that word on
They claim,
YouTube,
right.
but you know
Now,
what I'm
John's
thinking.
lower extremity, so his neck down, pretty much, does not
Oh,
have a lot
no.
of injuries from his neck down.
It's
There's barely
stupid.
anything. Usually, if you're hit by a car, the lower extremities are highly susceptible to injury. You'll notice a lot of pelvic bone injuries when pedestrians are hit with bigger cars like SUVs. You'll notice knee injuries, femur, tibia, the fibula.
Oh,
I mean,
no,
John
it got
has
dropped.
None of those. He does have
It got
fractures
dropped
near
on
the
its
ribs.
head.
His ribs are fractured.
It got dropped on
but
its
those are
head and
very
it's
common
torturing
locations
us.
for CPR-associated fractures. So she's saying those rib fractures, she believes it's resuscitation efforts.
It
She
got
does not
dropped on its
believe
head
it
and
was
is torturing
anything
us to
that
support
caused her death or
pedophiles.
was at the time of impact. of Eddie.
Because it doesn't
The
understand,
bruises on
like,
his
basic
knuckles would not
English.
be dissimilar to the ones found on Colin. They look like fighting bruises, like defensive wounds. And the ME testifies it could be. It could also be medical intervention. So one bruise.
So
on his
actually,
right hand,
your
there's this little
culture
prick
is
at
the one
center
who's
of the
okay with
bruising. So it
adultery
could have been them
because you
trying
have
to attempt to
multiple
get an IV
wives
in there that can cause
that
bruising
are
when
not
they're being a little bit more
consenting,
forceful
and they're
because
also
your life
children.
is at stake.
So
But some people are saying you could have gotten the
I
bruise
actually
from a
do
fight.
view
They could have
pedophilia
done it
as
and bruised
worse
it
than
more.
adultery. Yeah.
It's not just exclusive to one or
So,
the other. It could have been
sorry
both.
that you
So everything,
don't
even the medical
understand
report, is
that,
up to debate. She
but
does say that she did not
it's not
see
surprising.
any major signs of a significant altercation taking place. The bruising on the hands were faint, and one of them had a pinpoint mark that could suggest it was the IV. But also, a lot of people that are in very intense fights, they'll break their knuckles. She didn't see any broken bones in the hands of John O'Keefe or any broken nails, which are very typical. However, a lot of netizens argue if he
You think I
sustained an
watch
injury
Fox?
that would have
No, babe.
incapacitated him
You've told
pretty
me
quick
everything
on,
I need to
that
know
doesn't
with
mean
your
that he was
own
in this
words.
prolonged 10-minute fight.
You've proved everything I've
prosecution
said
asked her.
with your own
Injuries that
words.
you observed
So
to the back of Mr. O'Keefe's head, skull fracture, would that be consistent with a fall to the ground?
It could be.
I'm
Would that be
sorry that you're
consistent
not
with,
used to
being
not having
projected by an
power,
object, say,
but you
pedestrian
have no
collision, and then
power
striking your
here.
head on the ground?
You have no value. You are not important.
possible.
Your
Also, what
opinion
kind of
doesn't
question is that?
matter,
Just ask,
and you have
would
no
that be
rights.
consistent with a pedestrian
Isn't
putting
that
their head on
fun?
the ground after
Isn't
being
that
hit by a
fun
car?
how I just get to
Instead, he
determine
says,
you have
would
no
that be
rights?
consistent with being projected by an object,
On my
say,
whim?
a pedestrian
Oh, kind of like how
collision, and then striking
your
head on
culture
the ground.
determines that
And the
for
injuries that you
anyone
observed,
who's
would that
not
be consistent
a
with injuries that
rich
you observed
straight
in other
guy.
cases of a pedestrian
Funny how
collision?
that works.
They're not the classic
Funny.
pedestrian injuries that we've observed.
How do you
No.
like a taste of your own
Defense
medicine?
attorney Elizabeth Little does
Is it
the
tasty?
cross, and
You
she
gobbling
asks
it
if
up?
these
You gonna
injuries
jerk
could
off to
also
it
have been
later?
caused by, let's say, a dumbbell. You know, the Alberts, they love working out. They've got a home gym in their basement. Could it have been a dumbbell? Could be. She's also asking one by one. You know, it's very interesting. So there were no injuries to his shoulders? No. Chest area, aside from the resuscitation attempts?
Your
No.
your
No injuries
culture
to the
seeks
torso,
to
his
destroy
back,
and
hips,
oppress,
pelvis, thighs,
and
knees,
is therefore
feet,
worthless,
ankles,
and I do
none?
not respect it.
None. So from the neck down, he did not have a single broken bone, again, aside from those CPR-related injuries, correct? That's correct. Not a single fracture. Correct. Would you agree that John O'Keefe's injuries, or lack thereof, are inconsistent with having been struck by a vehicle at 24 miles per hour? I would say it's likely and unlikely at the same time, depending on the position of the body and the vehicle in question.
Would you agree that his injuries to his face are consistent with having been punched?
That is a possibility.
Your internal examination notes also cite a tongue laceration on the right front of the victim's tongue. Do you recall that?
Yes.
And you'd agree that a tongue laceration can be also caused by blunt force trauma.
Correct.
And that could also include something like a punch to the victim's face or jaw.
That's a possibility.
The laceration
So
to
it
the
could
back
just
of
be
John's
anything?
head had scratches, to which defense attorney Little asks, would you agree that someone could certainly get scratched on the back of their head if, for
Is the
instance,
scratches
they were
from
dragged on the ground?
Chloe?
It is possible.
So she's saying anything's possible, basically.
Dr. Squarty-Bello testifies that the injury to the back of his head, the fatal wound, could have been a result of falling back onto concrete, onto grass. It could have been a result of being struck with a large object such as a baseball bat or a barbell, or hitting your head against a table. I mean,
could just
the
literally be
world
anything.
is the oyster. Like, anything is possible at this point. But Elizabeth Little continues. And you'd agree that bruising
there
to
no,
the
like,
back of the hands is
fibers
also
or
consistent with
anything?
defensive
Like,
wounds.
Jesus
Yes, that is
Christ.
correct. In your expert medical opinion, is it possible for someone to get punched in the face?
No,
hard
no,
enough to
no,
lose
no. It
consciousness
is
and fall
worthless,
backwards?
actually. It's
It
worthless.
is possible. There are 5 classifications for manner of death on an autopsy.
Very worthless.
1, natural. 2, accidental. So the fatal outcome is not intentional. Drug overdoses, elderly falls, motor vehicle accidents. 3, homicide. 4, self-exit. And 5, undetermined. Now, this is very different from the cause of death, which would include
I don't view
more
a depiction
injury or
of
impact-focused facts. For example,
heaven
John
or
O'Keefe's
religion
official
to
cause of
be
death on his
a
certificate list
good
is
thing.
blunt impact injuries of head and
If anything,
hypothermia.
that's
But the
more
manner of
evidence as
death
to why
is
it's bad.
listed, could not be determined.
'Cause
It's
it
not
further
homicide,
brainwashes
even though
people
we are in the middle
into a
of
cult.
a homicide trial. She says, I am responsible for what goes on the death certificate, and unless I have enough information, clear and convincing evidence, I cannot determine the manner. The ME states that they don't
Looking
necessarily
good, I
think
like
that
it.
the injuries indicate or are consistent with John getting hit by a car, particularly
color
the
the
blunt force trauma to the
desk?
back of the head, could be
Yeah, I'll color the
consistent
desk
with
first.
pretty much anything. The defense
I'm gonna
argues
layer
that this is very interesting because Dr. Squirty-Bello actually receives a lot of information from the state troopers. The state troopers give her a lot of background information that can help her narrow down her medical findings.
I'm
They
sorry
don't
that you need a
influence her. She
fucking
says they
book
never
written
tried
by
to,
someone
and she never
1,000
accepted
years
if
ago
they
to
did,
tell you how to
which
have a
makes
moral
sense because I
compass,
think if they did
but
influence her, she
actually
would've put
those
it
of
down
us
as
without
homicide or
religion
something. But
can stand on
she
our
says,
own
no,
without
they
needing
gave
to
me
have
this
our handhold on how to
information.
be a
They
good
told her
person.
that Karen said, I hit him,
It's
and they
very
were
weird
talking
that you
about
need
hitting him with
religion
the
to
car,
tell you how to
and
be a
she
good
still
person.
ruled
That should
it
come from
could not be
within.
determined. So
And
the
it
defense
says
is asking,
everything
you
about
had all
you that it
information, you
doesn't.
still were unable
But
to
considering
conclude
you're a
the manner of
pedophile,
death
that
from
checks
Mr.
out.
O'Keefe, correct?
So,
Correct. Netizens argue it just doesn't make sense with
it's
the
not a
sentiment
good
being if
cult,
you really
though.
wanted.
It's a terrible
you could
cult.
Try to argue that he was
There
hit
is
by
no
the car
good
somehow,
cult.
and there are these odd once
All
in a blue moon
organized religion
instances where maybe
is
the injuries
bad.
are just not how they seem. Another thing a lot of netizens have been pointing out is that you see a lot
Choose
of
to
drunk
spell
driving
correctly,
statistics where
and then
the
maybe you
drunk
can have
driver
an opinion that
themselves
is worth
always come out
responding
alive,
to.
whereas the sober people who are following the laws, they end up passing. And I think per instance it's different, but there have been
Drunk people
anecdotal evidence,
always
and
get
maybe
away
there's
with it.
scientific evidence out there if you guys can inform me on that. But when you are
What color
drunk,
should the
your limbs are a
computer
lot
be?
more, they're not as stiff. And so your body
gonna make it
takes the
tan.
impact typically a tiny bit better.
Interesting.
And so people are saying if he were to be hit and he was that drunk, it doesn't make sense. Typically drunk people are a little more jello-y. He
Nah,
might
I'm
have
gonna make
fallen,
it pink.
but
I'm gonna make
this
the desk
feels almost
tan.
like he became stiff as a board and like twisted and just banged his head down. Instead of being a little more jello-y, which is like you would fall onto your bottom first or something of that sort. But again, that I don't know how scientific that is. It seems a lot more anecdotal. So
No,
people
no.
are like, maybe we can
Be
believe
less
that.
fucking stupid, and then you can
what
ask
are
a
the
question.
Injuries to his arms.
Spell
It
correctly
doesn't make
first.
sense. Now
Then
the
you can
prosecutors,
earn the
they're gonna
question.
argue, and we're gonna get more into this in the next part, that when Karen hit him with the back of her car, her tail light shatters. And then she almost drags him by the arm.
Which, mind
with
you,
her
it's a
cracked
question
tail light. And
without
then he
substance to
spins
begin
around,
with.
Does like a pirouette.
So,
They literally
I'm
use
not
that
gonna
word,
respond
like
to
a
it because
ballet
it
spin, and
doesn't
then
even make
hits his
sense.
head on the frozen ground and passes
I'm
away.
sorry you're so
That's what they're
fucking
trying to say.
brainwashed. You
Dr.
can't
Squirty-Bello
understand
says
how
about those
someone
arms.
would
We have this
exist
collection
without
of linear
their
abrasions
hand
that
being
measure up
held.
to 7 centimeters and extended from the upper arm
But,
down to the middle of the
like,
forearm. I mean, the arm
imagine
has no
someone
broken
has
bones, no
free
fractures,
will
just these lacerations.
and go from there.
She states, "I do not know how they came to be." Defense attorney Little asks her, "Could they have
I
been
know that must
from
be
a German
really
Shepherd's
hard for
claws?"
you.
Or a German Shepherd's claws.
See?
Claws.
Chloe.
Possibly, yes.
That's what I was saying. It's
Chloe.
scratches from Chloe.
So this is why Chloe is going to be very important later.
But why would
Some
Chloe
people are very
scratch
split.
him?
I think at this point, with the injuries, a lot of people believe that John O'Keefe was killed inside the house. That's just the conspiracy
Well,
out
yeah,
there.
if Chloe didn't
a lot
go
of people just
outside,
don't
then
feasibly
probably.
understand how these injuries came from the impact of a car. It just doesn't make sense to them. And I think it's not just this, it's the way everybody testifies, all these like negative, weird associations with the no nudes yet, these random butt dials we're gonna get into. Everybody's kind of suspicious. And then the injuries are not consistent. It's weird. Now,
Dude,
some
don't
people
hug
are
me, I'm
split
scared
on
is so
who
good.
killed John O'Keefe inside the house. And again, these are conspiracies. Some believe
Yeah, we
that it
know,
was Brian
dude.
Higgins.
We know
Others
you're a
say
fucking
it was
degenerate
Tom.
who likes
But
bussy.
regardless, many netizens
You really
believe
wanna fuck
he went
femboys.
inside the
We
house
get it.
And he was
We
killed
don't care.
inside the basement. And we're gonna get into all of the pictures of the basement because the Alberts decide that they're suddenly gonna renovate the basement. And then put their house that they have lived in for generations. This house was owned by Brian Albert's parents prior to this.
Uh-huh.
And they're gonna put it on the market and sell it.
No freaking way. When?
That's
Like
so
months after.
sus.
That is so shady.
Before
Like,
the first trial.
what?
And the
Wow.
new owners are gonna
Uh-huh.
let Karen Reed's defense team
Uh-huh.
into the house.
Fuck yeah. Because
Fascinating.
what
That
were
is
they
crazy.
thinking?
Yeah.
Why would
A
you
lot of
do
people
that?
think that John O'Keefe was
Why would
killed
you sell
in the
the
basement.
house?
He was dragged out through the basement doors that lead open to the backyard,
That's
and then
crazy.
there's a side fence that leads straight to the front lawn
What the
flagpole where his
fuck?
body was found. They believe that he was semi-dragged, or perhaps he was put inside a Ford Edge and then put on the side of the road. We're gonna get to that in the next one. But they're saying that this all adds up because around 12:18 a.m., John's phone shows that he unlocked his Face ID and he is on the Messages app for about 11 seconds. Then he calls Jen McCabe. So we can assume that at 12:18 a.m., Karen and John
Also, I have no
are
idea what I
driving
should
to
put on
34
this
Fairview.
screen.
That call lasts 36 seconds. It's likely that he's asking for clarifying directions to 34 Fairview. That
I guess it
call
can just be
ends,
whatever
and
game
at
we're
12:20,
playing. I'll leave
John
it
unlocks
blank.
his phone again and starts using Waze, the map app. Then 2 minutes after that, at around 12:22, John gets a message from Brian Higgins that just reads, "You come in here?" Question mark, question mark, question mark. Then,
So
around 12:29,
sus?
Jen calls John, and that call lasts around 51 seconds. 12:31, Jen texts John, "Pull behind me." Now, John's phone is locked for the very last time at 12:33 a.m. And then Karen starts calling John O'Keefe at 12:33 a.m., 12:34, 12:34, 12:35, 12:35, 12:36, 12:37. All those calls go unanswered. That is when at 12:38, Karen starts leaving her series of rather angry voicemails. Then at 12:40, Jen texts John, "Hello? This is the first message that goes unread." The calls from Karen go unanswered. So from 12:33, John stops responding to any phone calls, any messages.
So his phone stopped at 12:33?
Yes, stop interaction. Now at 12:42, another message pops up. "Where are you?" Then at 1:02, another message from Karen that reads, "Your kids are fucking alone." And then another one at 1:04 from Karen to John.
Like,
"I'm
her
back in
texts and
Mansfield,"
reactions
which is
are
where her
just
house is,
not
stating that
of
she left
someone who
John
just
Smith alone at
committed
the house,
murder.
Which is not true. She's actually at John's house on the couch waiting for him to get home. Here's where it gets interesting. From
None of her
John's Apple
reacting,
Health data, it
because
shows that at
she makes
12:30
herself
a.m.,
look
the phone
suspicious
takes
enough in a
36
way that an
steps,
innocent
which would
person
be
would
around
accidentally do.
84 feet.
That makes me
Measurements
think
from
that
the
she has
flagpole to the front door
literally
are
nothing to do
74
with this,
feet.
obviously.
Now, flagpole to the street probably adds a few more feet.
Because it just doesn't make
seems
sense.
like the right amount to get into the house.
Right.
And then his Apple Health data shows him going up and down stairs to
But
the basement.
How many
I
feet?
just have this.
3 stairs, 3 flights of stairs.
Okay.
Now, according to the prosecution expert, they state that John's phone, after leaving Karen's car, never leaves the area of the flagpole. They say that it drops down onto the ground, and we're gonna get into this whole like phone battery temperature in the next one, in the next episode. But there are
Phone battery
theories online
temperature.
that John made it into the house and was killed in the basement. That perhaps Chloe, the German Shepherd that's not great with strangers, attacks John's arm because a fight has broken out, probably maybe conspiracy with her loved ones, people that she loves, and a stranger. And she jumps into the fight, allegedly. There is a bigger physical altercation. She causes those lacerations, and that is the theory.
But why
But when
did
they
the
run
fight
the
happen?
DNA on John's shirt, there's no dog DNA. Only pig DNA.
What?
Where the hell are they getting pig
I know that they're
DNA?
cops, but like,
Before I give you a full rundown of
What
the
do
full
you-
statements of everyone in the house, I have to do a quick rundown of the theories that
What?
are circulating on the internet.
Hold
so you can
on.
decide whether, if any of these theories make any sense at all, and if so, which
What
one
the
makes the
fuck?
most sense. So
Pig
first theory
DNA?
is an insane
Where the
theory.
fuck is the
I'm gonna tell you that
pig?
straight up. It's a house full of swingers.
what?
The theories come
Oh,
from
I'm getting
speculations and
whiplash.
rumors from
Whoa.
locals, alleged locals, that Jen McCabe and Brian Albert.
I am sad.
So Jen McCabe is sisters with Nicole.
What do you
Nicole is
mean?
married to Brian.
They're
That
swingers?
Jen McCabe and Brian Albert.
That would
were
explain
having
her
an affair.
voicemail when she's
And
like,
that Brian
"Pervert,
Albert
you're a
and Nicole
pervert."
Albert were swingers. That the McAlberts, they're swingers.
Because if
in
she
this
was
town.
saying if she
That's what
thought he
they're
was
saying.
cheating, why would she
The
call him
most
a
interesting part of
pervert?
this theory that netizens grasp onto that makes the most
She'd be
sense
calling him
is
a cheater.
Karen asked John when they get to 34 Fairview, "Can you go inside and make sure we're welcome?" Which is kind of a weird thing to ask.
Maybe she
Some
sent him
netizens
in to
will
be like,
interpret this
"Hey, are they
differently
swinging
as,
right now?"
"Ooh, Karen got bad vibes from these people from the get-go. Like she doesn't know if they like John or not." That's some interpretation. Others say, "You don't think that's strange? Why would she ask him to go inside to make sure that they're welcome?" Well, the theory is that Karen and John
maybe
kind of
that's why
knew
it was
that
so
the Alberts
casual that
were
she
a
was
swinging
flirting with the
house.
friend,
She didn't
and
want
that
to be a
no one
swinger.
seemed to care
so she
that
asked
much.
John to go in there and make sure that they're not swinging because she doesn't want to go in and like do that.
Oh my
That's not what she wants
God.
to do.
I think
He
real
goes
swingers.
inside, and he doesn't come back out. And he doesn't pick up her calls. And so
then she
starts
probably
leaving
thinks
these
he's
very
in
angry
there fucking
voicemails because
people.
She believes he's in there doing some swinger stuff. doing stuff that he shouldn't be doing, because why else, I mean, these conspiracy theorists are wondering, why else would she call him at 1 a.m. calling him a pervert?
Yes, 1 in the morning, I'm with you.
Oh my God.
You pervert. You're pervert.
Because it's a very specific
Oh, this is my favorite theory so
Some
far.
people are trying to think, oh, maybe
Mormon
she
swingers
thought
are
he
scarier,
walked
I
the doors
agree,
down
'cause they're
to
Mormon.
Bella's mom's house because he was dating Bella's
Oh
mom
my
at one point,
God,
but that's
this is
not
crazy.
a pervert. That's a cheater. That's someone that's messed up. That's
That is a
not
cheater, not a pervert.
A pervert is so specific.
So this theory is kind of built upon the text pervert.
Angry voicemails of pervert, the weirdness of like, why would she send him in there to go see if they're welcome? And also,
No,
a lot
like,
of
that makes
locals have come out
sense.
anonymously online, so take it with a grain of salt. We can't confirm any of this, that these people are swingers.
Okay, but isn't like are the kids at home too? Brian Albert Jr.
Yes, but Karen didn't know that. So
Okay.
Karen's like, go
Interesting.
in and make
Okay,
sure they're
okay.
not swinging.
Got
Right.
it.
Oh my
The
God,
theory,
that's
though,
crazy.
is how did the death occur then? Because he would walk in, they're not swinging.
Chat, I'm so
What
hungry. What
then?
should I eat in between
The theory
streams?
is that John walks
feel like I
in
should have,
and
like, a
Brian
hot dog or
Higgins
something. I'm,
is
like,
demanding he go get
So
Karen.
hungry.
Or maybe
need
he's
something-
inciting John. He's drunk. He's like, hey, guess what Karen texted me? And Brian Albert's
Substantial.
egging it on. They're having this little moment of like, haha, John O'Keefe. A fight breaks out. One punch.
Or maybe
and
they
John
ask him
ends
to
up
bring
dead.
her
They
in,
start
and he
panicking.
says
Karen
no,
thinks he's in
and
there
that's
doing
why they attack
sexual
him.
things. She drives off. She's pissed off. She's leaving voicemails. And there are plans now put into place of what they should do. Which, why don't they just report it then, right? I mean, it's clearly not a premeditated, intentional killing. They know.
Oh my God,
that
yes, you
someone's
have to
gonna
watch
get
this
killed,
from the
and these are
beginning
all
because it's
cops.
fucking crazy, and
I don't
it's
think they're gonna have a good time in jail. And two,
I'm gonna have to
medicines believe
rewatch
that
it
this
because
was
there's
very
so much to keep up
image-oriented. They
with.
don't want the whole town to know that this is a swingers gone wrong party, which is a crazy
thankfully
way to
it's
phrase
not hot
things,
today
but
for
that
me.
is
It's only
theory number one.
63 right now, but it was like
Theory two,
89 the other day.
Bryans, Brian Albert and his bestie Brian Higgins are ready for a fight.
You like my kitchen streams? The kitchen
They
streams
had
are
just
fun.
driven
My
down
kitchen's
from New
such a
York
mess
together,
though.
And ATF Brian is telling Brian Albert about his text
I need to
message
do one
flirting
again,
with Karen. Brian Albert is riling him up. He's like, you need to confront John about what his woman is doing. Like, that's the way that this man talks, okay? Just, I watched Boston's Finest, okay? And this guy likes to call
I
everybody
forgot he was
females.
on a.
That's the vibe it gives. And he's
I
saying,
know,
you
so
gotta
much
man-to-man
religious
say
jargon
something to him.
interrupting
These
my
are all fictional
tea.
in our minds conversations. We don't know if any of this is true.
Goodbye.
And
Have fun
he's like,
at work.
end this once and for all. Which is why Brian is texting John.
Right, the fact
asking
they're
if
all
he's coming.
family and
John
friends
walks
is
in,
just
a confrontation
crazy.
ensues between
Honestly,
Brian
this is
Higgins and
giving
John
me
O'Keefe,
vibes of the
where again,
anti-pasta
John ends up
drama.
with a
Is
fatal
anyone else
head
getting the
injury, and now
anti-pasta
everyone's
drama
freaking out.
vibes?
Theory number
Because
3. Colin Albert Bloody Knuckles. Colin, 17-year-old high schooler, very arrogant, little weasel. I mean, propensity for getting into fistfights. He gets into an altercation, probably over nothing, with John O'Keefe, punches him, causing the fatal head injury. Everyone now plays cleanup.
Why would that happen? Like you say, they previously have bad relationship, right?
Yes, so that is one theory. We're gonna get more into that in the next one because they've got some weird relationships with John O'Keefe as well. His parents do, because they were all neighbors for a very long time. They lived 2 houses down.
Right.
Now, Colin Albert, just a weird kid. He was pissing John off, according to Karen, leaving beer bottles in his front lawn. He was the one person that John O'Keefe had problems with. And Colin Albert just seems to be very entitled. He gives me Nepo baby vibes, although I don't know how wealthy the McAlberts are.
But
it
Chris
is
runs the
giving Nepo
town,
baby.
Exactly.
So
That's the energy.
like you don't have to be
that he
rich to be a
has.
nepo baby.
I
If
also
you're in
feel like he's
control
the
in like a
type
governmental
to
position, that
bully
can also be a nepo baby.
smaller-ranking cops because he's got the big boy cops on his side, and I think that he strikes me as the type to think that that would be cool.
Yeah.
But what do I know? I don't know this guy. Some people think that
Agreed.
he started a fight over the beer cans. Other people think maybe it's a mixture. Perhaps John walks in and Chloe has a moment where she freaks out. She sees John, a stranger, and just attacks out of nowhere.
But is he a
And
stranger
John is
to
doing
Chloe?
everything he can to get Chloe off of him because would you not do the same thing as well? And Colin sees this and he's mad. Why? I don't know if he particularly is a dog lover or an animal lover, but
I can
think
see
that
Chloe
he is
also
maybe
like
someone that
trying
looks for
to
an opportunity
claw
fight
at
based
him
off of his
after he was
multiple
killed.
instances of
Or, you
injured
know, like
knuckles.
after he's been
And he decides that he's
incapacitated.
going to punch John, use this as an excuse to punch him to get him to stop, but that punch ends up being fatal. So that is theory 3. Colin, unpredictable, bloody knuckles.
That one doesn't really make the most sense.
Theory involving Colin, but it's involving Colin and almost this entire wall of people.
Wait.
This theory is going to make more sense in the next episode, but it is believed that Colin was engaged in some nefarious after-school activities. That's the rumor. These are all speculations. These are conspiracies that Colin is selling drugs. There are depths to this theory. Some people think that it's just Colin selling drugs to high school kids. Others think
maybe
it's a whole enterprise. So Chris and Julie Albert,
maybe he found out that they were selling drugs, and then his parents were helping him sell drugs.
They say, I don't know how they stay in business. And people say, maybe because they're not selling food. And it would be very easy, theoretically, for
it was the one-armed man.
Albert, Brian Albert, to get access to confiscated drugs. And maybe it is being resold.
This kind of is giving
a
Twin
theory?
Peaks.
Because right before John O'Keefe's passing, he reports to his superiors that he knew of
someone's dead, it's getting derailed, everyone's getting caught up, people are being falsely accused, it's a small town, people are acting weird, everyone's kind of suspicious.
To the Waterfall Bar that night? Chris Albert. Prior to this, they were neighbors for many years.
Oh, they hate each other, right?
Chris Albert didn't even have John O'Keefe's number for a very long time.
This needs to be made into a
Suddenly,
show.
He invites him to the waterfall.
Like, this is so crazy. I need a movie now.
That is a very lengthy theory that we're going to go into the next part. But
this is so crazy.
The theory is they decide they're going to bring him to 34 Fairview. That's why Brian
right?
Higgins is like, hey,
this
John,
is so
coming?
Crazy.
And basically, they're just going to try to get into a fight to shut him up. A lot of people have reported online, again, rumors, that Brian Albert is a bully cop. He's the type of cop that will beat you up. He's not the type of cop that's like, I will only arrest you and be kind to you because you are still...
Right, Lemon? It is. It's like Twin Peaks.
They say, just based off vibes and what people say that they know of him, he's the one to turn off his body cam. Allegedly, this is a conspiracy. This is the vibe. This is the picture that I'm drawing you, the vision, but it's not actual deeds that he is accused of doing or have been proven to have done. But people say he's the type of cop to turn off his body cam and beat you up. And then
abuse of power.
So they decide John's going to come over and we're just going
abuse
to
of power is the
tussle him
vibes.
up so he knows.
Rancid vibes.
Not to talk about it, not to investigate further because it's none of your business. And that is theory number 4. So
why would you think I'm Jewish? I just went on a whole rant about how I'm not religious.
Everyone in the house has to say about that night. Brian Higgins says on the 28th, so this is the day of the Blizzard party before midnight, the day before John is found deceased. ATF Brian and
I'm sure if I knew more about
the
Jewish religion, I'd have issues with it as well.
Now, the original plan was for everybody to stay in New York for a while to pay their respects.
I can find issues with every religion if I try hard enough.
To hit, ATF Brian is like, I am not going to get stuck in New York City. I'm going to drive
right,
down
what
to
about the
Canton
fucking pig?
Friday night.
What is up with the
Brian
pig?
And Kevin Albert, Canton police officer, detective, brother of Brian Albert, they're both in New York, and they ask ATF Brian, we flew here, can we catch a ride with you? Because we also don't want to be stuck in New York.
I never said I was an atheist.
So they drive back, they grab dinner together. This drive is like 4 hours, by the way. And that is why a lot of people are like, you're telling me ATF
I'm also
Brian,
not an
you
atheist.
didn't tell Brian Albert about your text messages.
Because I view atheists to also act equally weird and
about these two men,
religious about their atheism.
Share all these types of things with each other.
Yeah, seems like they've been talking a lot of stuff.
Yeah. They all drive back down, grab dinner together, where ATF Brian has a few drinks with his favorite Jameson and ginger, and eventually they end up at the Waterfall Bar. Now, to be very precise, ATF Brian initially just went to the hillside for dinner with Brian Albert. Brian Albert is like, I'm gonna go meet my wife.
I am agnostic.
Nicole, at the
I don't
Waterfall
know,
Bar.
and neither do you.
Caitlin is also
Why the
there.
fuck would any of us
So
know? That's kind of the whole point.
ATF
It's
Brian's
beyond
like,
our
"I'm about."
understanding.
And then
Why try to
last
figure it
minute,
out? Who
he
cares?
decides, you know what? I'm gonna go to the Waterfall Bar for no apparent specific reason. He walks in, and then Karen and John O'Keefe walk in. And obviously, it's going to be presumably awkward. John doesn't know that they've been texting. He has a little inkling that something is weird, but Karen and ATF Brian Karen likely doesn't want anything
No,
to go
you clearly
further.
don't have any
ATF Brian says when the couple walk into the waterfall, he has a brief conversation with John,
in you.
and he doesn't recall what they spoke
Because
about. And he
you
doesn't have
think
any
your
sort of
religion is the
conversation
one
with
that
Karen.
everyone should
But
follow.
He does discreetly text her,
The fuck?
well, which he says was a flirtatious text. Karen again.
If you
does
claim
not
to be
respond,
religious,
and
you're not
everybody starts
agnostic. That's
packing
not
it
how
up,
that
Starts
works.
leaving the bar to go to 34 Fairview. Suddenly, ATF Brian drops texting Karen. He's like, I'm no longer texting Karen. I'm going to text John O'Keefe instead. And he says, where are you? Are you coming here? Question mark, question mark, question mark. It just feels like, for whatever reason, he wants John O'Keefe there. Some people say he wants John O'Keefe there because Karen by default will come. Some people say he wants John O'Keefe there because this is like the last straw for him. Karen finally ghosted him again to his face, and now he's going to confront John about it. And he's going to be like, you know what's been happening?
I see. Okay.
It's been interpreted both ways. ATF Brian gets no response from John O'Keefe from that message. And he testifies that John and Karen were absolutely not inside the house at any point. He says, after I left the waterfall, I never saw the defendant or John O'Keefe ever again. During cross-examination, the defense attorney, Alan Jackson, he starts
I don't really know what this little
asking ATF
painting
Brian
should be yet.
about the kiss. And he's like, it wasn't some passionate, long kiss, right?
It's safe to say that that was not some hot, passionate, long kiss, but you think it was more than just a friendly peck, correct?
I wouldn't describe it as a peck. I describe it as more than friends. It was a kiss.
Well, you did describe it as a peck, didn't you? When? When you texted Karen and she said it was just a peck and you texted back, I agree, it was weak. He said it was a figure of speech. Or the truth, right? Figure of speech. The defense is trying to argue Karen really is just not that into you, ATF Brian. I mean, it's pretty clear from the messages that she's emotionally upset over the rough parts of the relationship with John. She's likely using ATF Brian to make John jealous. If anything, that gives ATF Brian a bigger motive to want John gone than it does Karen. Attorney Jackson asks him, you were very interested in her romantically at that point, correct?
I was attracted to her. I don't know that I would say very interested in her.
You're showing romantic interest in her?
I wouldn't say it was romantic. I was trying to vet it out.
My question is, you seem to have a problem admitting that you had a romantic interest in my client. Is there a reason for that? I was attracted to her. Right, physically attracted. I thought she was an attractive woman. Romantically attracted? I'm not gonna go there. No, I don't agree with that. Of course you're not gonna go there because that would put you in a very awkward position, wouldn't it?
Bruh.
Hi, Brandon. But Alan Jackson is like, you were telling her that you want the real deal. The real deal, that you would be able to get to date her and get involved romantically, correct?
Again, if you're claiming that your religion is the truth, you are not agnostic. Words have meaning, actually.
Romantic relationship, Mr. Higgins?
It's possible.
They also point out that at no point, even when talking about John potentially
You don't just get to
cheating on her,
claim
did
you're a
Karen
thing
show any
without
sort of
doing any
anger,
of the things that make you
resentment,
that thing just because you
hatred
think it
towards John
sounds
O'Keefe,
good.
Which ATF Brian agrees, but maybe ATF Brian starts feeling some type of way because at the waterfall he just keeps getting ignored. And so she basically ignored you the whole evening. No, that's not how I interpreted it.
So how did you interpret it?
So she paid you attention and came over and said hello, shook your hand, gave you a hug. Well, just because somebody doesn't come over doesn't mean they ignored you.
It's like you didn't even exist.
I think that's dramatic. No, I don't look at it
Is it
that
dramatic?
Did she ignore you or not? No, she did not ignore me. She was working the room, talking to people, saying hello, catching up.
Okay.
And the one person she didn't come over to talk to and say hello to and catch up with is you.
Like, bro is coping so hard.
But I
No,
was
she
one of
didn't
the
ignore
people
me.
that she didn't say hello to. Yes. Treated you like a stranger.
She did.
I didn't feel that way, no. Did that upset you, that she ignored you or didn't pay attention to you? I did not feel ignored and it didn't upset me at all. But it bothered you enough to send her a text message, didn't it? No, it was a flirty text. It was just, that was it.
This guy.
Oh, okay, so, with 6 M's. And she ignored the text, correct? Well, I don't know what her mindset was, if she was purposely ignoring the text or she didn't see it. I don't know, I didn't read into it.
Just, well, like a well in the ground.
I think you know what I mean.
Yeah, I think you do too, sir. You meant, well, when are you gonna pay attention to me?
Bro.
No, that's not correct.
Well, why are you ignoring me?
It's not correct.
Well, am I chopped liver?
Objection.
All right, that's sustained.
I feel like a teenage boy could figure this one out.
And I feel like the rejection is very clear.
Yeah, like, what are you saying?
Like,
we
I
all
don't know why you're trying to deny it. It's so
you were
weird that you're
kinda
trying to
butthurt
deny
about
it.
This one, a few of these people on this wall, I feel like their egos and their true colors, like this man, Alan Jackson, does know how to poke them. Very specifically.
I see.
Like he gets people angry on the stand. That is how
the
a lot of
desk should be
reporters have talked about him,
light
even before this
pink.
case. They say he's very adversarial. at 2:20 a.m., after you left the waterfall, you made your way over to 34 Fairview. You were more interested in getting John to come to 34 Fairview than Karen. No, that's not how I would describe it. The defense insinuates that ATF Brian had told Brian Albert about everything that's been happening with Karen, and he's going to confront John that night. And ATF Brian is like, to be honest with you, I mean, on a personal level, I kind of keep things to myself. I was a little embarrassed. I wasn't really proud of them. Kind of maybe didn't show me in a good light with respects that I was John's friend. So he's saying, I never told Brian Albert a single thing. He says that the text messages with Karen, I mean, I'm not proud of these text messages. It is what it is. I take responsibility for them. But John was a friend at the same time, and I clearly wasn't, you know, if they were at the end of their relationship, they were at the end of their relationship. ATF Brian says he stops by inside the house, never sees John. But there's this very strange moment in court. Attorney Jackson brings up the fact that at a previous proceeding, insinuating to be a federal proceeding, these people are much more honest with federal interviews. The FBI comes knocking on their door, suddenly a little more honest. Suddenly they can remember a little bit more. But anything to do with the Commonwealth grand jury hearing, the first trial, the second trial, interviews, they just talk out of their butts in ways that I'm like, logically it doesn't even make sense. But with the feds, I think they know.
So the feds, you have only Alan Jackson has that information, and he will bring it up during this trial.
The Commonwealth has that information, but they don't want to bring it up.
Right.
So Alan Jackson is impeaching them with this information. So he's bringing it up during cross-examination, and he says, didn't you at a previous proceeding, you stated that you saw a tall, dark-haired male enter the Albert house that night?
I believe that was in reference to somebody's brother in a pickup. I don't know if that was during...
All I'm asking you, Mr. Higgins, did you say that? Did you say...
And the hands look really fucking weird, but I...
entered the house while we were there?
I said they might have.
I couldn't. They were just... It was just weird. It was
Attorney
just
Jackson
weird.
reads him the previous statement, which Higgins
I did my best.
The mail showed up where? You answered, showed up at the house. I think
Hands
he was there
always
very
look
briefly.
fucking
I
weird,
was
especially when they're like at an angle.
You were then asked, did that mail come inside the house? You answered, I believe he did. Do you remember that? Yes.
No, I don't think you will, because your heart's not in it.
No, I said I believe he did. I wasn't sure. You said that you only remember seeing that person.
And it's not actually an easy
and
job.
it looked like he was having a conversation with two girls briefly.
I'm gonna have to be the background.
Yes. You were asked how long was the person in there roughly, and you said it was quick, less than a couple of minutes. And then you were asked what he looked like, and you said, I feel like they were a little bit taller and had dark hair. Side note, there are two ways this has been interpreted. This tall, dark-haired male could fit John O'Keefe's description, but other than that, there's no name,
What do we
there's
think
nothing.
of the colors?
But Higgins knows what John O'Keefe looks like. Why would he say it like this? Because Higgins is a federal
Not the
agent.
AI hands!
Maybe he knows what happens when
First I had the AI foot, now I have the AI hands.
Perhaps he's using this as a seed to paint an
I
outline
promise I'm
to
just
say,
bad at drawing
I didn't look fully,
sometimes.
I was drunk. I wasn't paying attention. I did tell you, remember I told you that I might have seen someone come into the house. I clearly didn't think it was John because I was so drunk, I was out of it, but I told you I remembered someone coming in, so I'm not lying to you. Others think, no, he's covering his ass because Colin, every single person testifies that Colin leaves before Karen's car even shows up anywhere. Colin leaves before half the senior adults get here. He leaves right when like Brian Albert walks in through the door and he's the first person to get there. So there's no way
I'm thinking of having it look like there's like a window shining light
Karen
in the
Reed
background.
Overlap. But maybe Brian Higgins is like, I know that's not true, and I can't lie to the feds.
That way, like, lighting's coming from the back a little bit.
Colin was there. Colin was there later than everyone is saying he was there. Because
Oh my God,
Colin
you're right,
and Brian
Ellie.
Higgins should not have crossed paths. He should have left the house before Brian Higgins even got there.
Is that the only people who fit?
Oh
the
yeah, I always do the
description?
highlights
Like,
later
there's
because I
no
always
other tall black hair.
It's the whole thing.
Really?
I mean,
I'm
those are
lazy.
the only two that fit the description in a way that would make sense. So these are what the netizens are theorizing.
Oh, okay.
I mean, that is
Now,
the next
this
step.
could be him.
Actually, wait, no, I have to do the
covering for
nails
himself to
first.
say, well, I didn't
Let me
see
get
John
my
O'Keefe
nail
there, but I guess I
reference.
saw him. I was just drunk. Or to not perjure
Nail
himself on the
reference.
stand and say that, oh, I didn't see Colin. He left before I got there.
Where to go? Shit.
So exactly how many people is in the house?
When everybody is at the waterfall.
Let me hide it
Like
really
everyone's
fast
at
and
the
pull it up as a
waterfall,
reference.
okay.
You've got birthday Brian Albert Jr. I have these little house post-its, okay? Because I was
I like it. I like
these
it.
are gonna come in handy.
I love it.
Brian Albert Jr.
Uh huh.
His friend
Julie.
His other friend,
Bless you,
Sarah Levinson.
Okay.
These three are in the house.
That's it.
There were a few other girls,
Uh-huh.
but they left. And they are now saying Colin was also there.
The whole time with Brian Albert Jr.?
Yes. He only came for like 40
I
minutes.
really
they
just
said,
made this
but he
reference
was
so
there
that when I'm
before.
drawing, I
Albert
can
is
have a
friends with
photo
Brian
of
Albert?
her
Oh, yeah,
fucking
the
nails
Albert.
so I
They're
can
cousins, yeah.
get the
So they're
colors
cousins.
right.
Interesting.
And then the first people to get back
Okay.
Uh-huh.
in one car is Brian Albert,
Uh-huh. Nicole Albert.
Nicole Albert,
At like, what, 12 something?
yes, and Caitlin Albert, their daughter.
Right, okay.
So these three come back in one
need to make
car
this brush
from the
smaller.
waterfall bar. And then
There, okay.
Colin leaves.
Why did
Only
he
one
leave so early?
toe showing
He says
on
he has
that
a
one.
curfew. We're gonna get into that. There's text messages that are
Curfew?
so unhinged. So then Colin leaves.
At what time? 12?
He says 12:10 a.m. exactly. Does he recall anything else from that,
That is
night?
crazy.
No. But every single person recalls he left at 12:10.
Wow.
So then Brian Higgins walks in.
Okay.
Colin is left. Brian Higgins walks in. Jennifer McCabe walks in with her husband Matthew McCabe. Yes. And obviously
Okay,
Chloe's
Chloe.
in the
Right.
house.
Right.
Now these are all the people that are inside
That's
the house.
not a lot of people.
No.
How do you not remember? Okay, so there's, let me see, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5.
Very
5
important
adults,
to get the
like 5
hands
older, and then 1, 2, 3,
toes,
4, 4
nail
younger.
polish correct,
Wow,
okay.
like there's barely anyone
Yeah.
in the house.
Yeah.
If you like the
Okay, so
photo
I'm
of
gonna
the
get there
feet
when
and
I get there
hands,
because
by the
they're
way,
outside people
it
now.
is on her
So
website.
these are
It's
all the
teddychan.me.
people. When
Go
asked
to her
about if he
closet,
said that to the feds
which
about
gives
the
you a
dark-haired, tall
rundown
guy,
of her
doesn't
design
remember. Brian
aspects
Higgins doesn't
and has a
remember lot
photo
things
of her
during his
feet and
testimony.
hands.
All he remembers about being
For
in
your
that house was
enjoyment.
he just stayed for a little bit because, well, he saw Birthday Brian flanked by 2 females. That's how he
Okay,
says
this
it. He
is
just
that
keeps using this type of verbiage over and over again. And at one point, ATF Brian and Brian Albert leave the kitchen area and they go upstairs to look at Brian Albert's other son's photos. So
They
Brian
go
Albert is like, hey,
upstairs.
my other son, who's not on this wall, is in the Marines.
What is the
You wanna see
layout of
pictures
this
him
house?
in the Marines? So they go
Bobby.
upstairs.
Why are you
Uh-huh.
wet? Did your sister lick your
Problem.
face?
ATF Brian previously testified that he had never been upstairs in the Albert
Oh?
household.
Did
But
you
he
go
went
anywhere
upstairs.
else within the home beyond what you
What is the
described
layout
as
of this
the kitchen and the
house?
living?
No.
Did you go upstairs at any time?
No.
But they went upstairs to go look at the photos.
The
There's
fuck?
3 floors in the Albert residence. ATF Brian testified previously that he's never been to the very top floor, which means you just have the main floor and the basement. So if you go upstairs to look at photos, where are the photos?
Okay, so are we saying that
You're
they were
too poor to
downstairs
understand the
in
layout.
basement?
Same.
Where a lot of people theorize John O'Keefe was killed. So they're downstairs in the basement and they went upstairs.
Is there,
to
like,
look at
3
photos.
floors?
It's just another thing that is very, very strange, right?
Oh, there's a
It doesn't
basement.
make any
The basement.
sense.
So they
ATF
they
Brian
were
also
hanging
states
out in
that
the
he leaves
basement.
the Albert residence sometime around 12:20, 1 a.m. He says that he knew he was going to leave pretty
my God,
early,
you're right,
even
Jeffrey, we
before
will.
coming, because he's not a big beer drinker, and all they have are White Claws and beers.
Okay, we
so
can
he's
hide
like,
that now.
I need my Jameson and ginger.
Now we
He's
do
like
the
obsessed
hair.
with that combination. He
Part of
claims he's one of the
forgetting.
very first people to leave, and he just wants to go home. Except he doesn't go home. He goes straight to the Canton Police Department.
Why?
ATF Brian works out of the Canton Police Department. He has an office there because the
did the-
chief of the Canton Police, Berkowitz, is his bestie. During a celebration party for Chief Berkowitz, ATF Brian got up with a glass of champagne to give a toast and allegedly said, if you want to hide a body, Kenny Berkowitz is your man.
Oh, really?
Brian Higgins says,
That relationship it was
That's
through
good
Chief
to know.
Berkowitz, born through a tragedy. When my sister passed away, we became friends, and he offered up the space.
Okay, so yeah, this is how I
'cause
do
I
the
had
hair
also moved there, so it was
part.
close. It was a jumping off
Do
point.
that.
Brian Higgins'
And
sister
then we'll
passed
get
away?
the hairbrush
yeah. And, then
and
he
use
was
that
like,
as the
hey, since you're moving
eraser.
to Canton, do you just want
Just to give it
an
a little
office
bit of
inside my
texture
police
here.
station? You want to know
So it's
something
not
else
all
that's crazy? I keep wanting to
flat.
save some crazy things, but these two seem close, right? Brian Higgins and Brian Albert seem close, right?
Besties, yeah.
But Brian Higgins, ATF Brian, and
Okay, we
Chief
got that. And then
Berkowitz
we
are
will
actually
blend
much
with the
closer.
same hairbrush.
And ATF Brian stated that Chief Berkowitz says even he is scared of Brian Albert. Brian Albert's a scary
Interesting.
guy.
How do we find out about that?
He said that to somebody else. Why does he go to the Canton Police Department right after 34th Fairview? He's like, yeah, it doesn't make sense. He claims it's because he has a ton of cars parked in the parking lot. He's got work cars, he's got a police cruiser, he's got an undercover cop car, he's got his own personal cars in the parking lot, and if the snow plowers are coming through, they've got to move all their cars to the center of the parking garage because it just makes things easier. It's a courtesy thing. Nevertheless, he goes in, he passes the dispatch room where Sergeant Good is working dispatch. And he will be the one that picks up Carrie Roberts' initial 911 call where she's like, hey, have you seen my friend at a hospital or anything? He says no. Then he picks up another 911 call from Jen, who says there's a guy in the snow. There's a man in the snow.
And then he later showed up too at the scene.
Yes.
It was all him.
Yes. These three will show up at the scene. These three are so suspicious because these three didn't even see where John's body was laying in the snow, but they're out here giving all their information to the accident reconstructionist when it's like, how can you give information if you didn't even know where he was in the snow?
Right.
Interesting.
These three are weird. ATF Brian says he just waves at Sergeant Good. That's it. He says hi to him, goes to his office upstairs, grabs his car keys, comes back down, moves the vehicles. There has been footage of him released of moving his cars around, and this man isn't just moving his cars around. He's just like full treasure hunting, opening the trunk, grabbing things. There's a lot going on for someone who just wants to go home and fall asleep ASAP.
Yeah.
And at one point, you can see him walking in the snow with his brightly lit phone up to his ear. It looks like he's on a phone call, but we don't know that for sure. He could be doing a voice memo. He could be listening to a voice memo. It just appears to be a phone call. But the problem is, you cannot even ask him about it because this footage of him in the Canton Police Department was released during the second trial where ATF Brian is not called to testify.
Why?
The government does not call him to testify. And the defense, I don't think they want to risk it.
Oh, it was like somebody else released it during the second trial, but they can't ask Brian for any more information about it.
It's admitted into evidence, but they can't say, hey, Brian, who are you on the phone with?
Interesting.
ATF Brian says.
It was a long day. We had traveled, the traffic, it just seemed like it dragged on forever. But I think I did what I typically do after being out, having a couple of drinks.
Okay,
I had something else to eat,
go.
and I believe I might have had another couple of drinks.
Yeah, I was kind of modeling it after my PS4 controller.
Or laid on my bed.
But obviously it looks a little different because those are not the colors of a PS4 controller unless you customized one, and that would be really cool if you did.
He asleep and he doesn't wake up until his phone starts blowing up at 6:30 in the morning.
But no, I was looking at my PS4 controller when I drew it.
Chief Berkowitz and Brian Albert.
Why the fuck they're calling him for?
Exactly. ATF Brian chooses
do I have one in
not
here?
to
I don't
call
think I
Chief
do.
Berkowitz back, but he calls Brian Albert back. Chief Berkowitz is his
Also, I gave her just this little,
but he
like...
calls Brian Albert back.
Yeah.
And his reasoning for this
One
is,
of the,
well,
like,
Chief Berkowitz is an early riser, and typically when he's working that day, we had a friendship
headphone
where we would just kind of check on each other
'cause-
in the mornings. We just call in the mornings. So
Okay.
I just kind of
forgot
blew it
to
off. Like,
do it
you
at
know, why are you calling me
first,
this early?
and then I was
but when
like,
I
I
saw
should
Brian
probably have
Albert
headphones.
calling me, that kind of caused some concern. So he's like, it's not that I knew Brian Albert had something to tell me. It's that he just doesn't wake up early. We don't talk like that. Whereas I talk to Chief Berkowitz every single
could
morning.
make a custom one
So this is a
once.
casual phone call I was getting. This was alarming to me. That's why I picked his phone call over his.
Oh, true.
So
Drive-through
he
as
was out
well.
with me all day. We both had the
This
same
is
long day. I was
true.
concerned at that point. So he picks up the call. He talks
But, like,
to
she already
Brian
has so much
Albert,
stuff on
and
her
that's when he
head. I
finds
felt like
out
that made
John
sense.
O'Keefe was found laying on the lawn outside.
She's
ATF
putting the
Brian
fries
says
in
that
the
it meant he
bag.
was very
Okay, she's
confused.
The math
McDonald's
didn't make
simulator.
sense. John and the defendant never showed up. People were in shock.
He says it didn't
clean
make
this
sense.
up a
so he
bit.
gets dressed, rushes over to 34 Fairview, where a few of the McAlbert family members have gathered. ATF Brian says the energy was just distraught. He ends up staying for about an hour, and he doesn't really recall with 100% certainty what else he did, but he's off that day. He's off January 29th, 2022. He just found out that someone that he is friends with passed away.
Yeah.
What would you do on your off day? Would you go grieve? Would you go mourn? Would you spend time with your family because you're like, I'm sad? He goes on his off day
To the office?
to Canton Police Station.
You weren't scheduled to work that Saturday, correct?
No.
Matter of fact, you weren't on duty at all.
No, I wasn't.
He doesn't recall how long he was there or what time he was there from. But he wasn't on duty that day. He's not working that day. He doesn't go home to grieve. He doesn't sleep. He doesn't run errands. He goes directly from 34 Fairview to Canton Police Department. ATF Brian says he just stopped by, but the defense argues that his key card shows access all the way from 9 a.m. to 5 p.m.
That's
Brian
a full
is like,
shift.
well, I could have left and come back.
That's a 9 to 5.
I could have like left and periodically kept coming back all day.
You could have.
And then they're like, okay, but you were still there for a long time. At that point, ATF Brian meets with some of the state troopers that have now just been assigned to the case. Trooper Proctor and Trooper Buchanan, both of whom he knows. ATF Brian testifies, so I was familiar with Trooper Buchanan. Evidently, I was reminded by Trooper Proctor that I had met with him before. I think I had helped him on a gun recovery that he made, but I didn't remember him. He says that he's not close
everyone's
with
acting
either
so
of them.
sus.
I had seen
Now our hair is
Trooper
good.
Buchanan on a number of occasions at a local
True,
gym.
Teddy is working
I had
home.
seen him one time at the hillside.
Thank
I think he
you.
might have been with his child after a sporting event. I think I said hello. I bought
usually
him a
do
drink.
it on
ATF Brian says,
Light.
I wouldn't classify that as socializing, more being friendly. And that's that. Nothing else of particular value has been noted by the Honorable Brian Higgins. Also, ATF Brian testifies that he knows the name of Colin Albert. He knows that he's one of Chris Albert's sons. However, if Colin Albert were to walk into the courtroom today, he would have not a single clue that that is Colin Albert. ATF Brian testifies that he does not know what Colin Albert looks like.
I know the name, and I know that he is one of the sons of Chris Albert.
Are you familiar with what he looks like?
If he walked in here right now, I wouldn't know.
And he just feels the need to throw that out there. A lot of people just don't like his testimony. Everything boils down to, if I did that, if I knew that, I would have done that.
Yeah.
With one netizen writing, they kill me. These witnesses kill me when they act like they don't understand the questions.
It's
then
so
you have
weird.
Brian Albert, the homeowner. Homeowner Brian. Brian Albert is sitting on the witness stand, dressed like a defendant, white-collared shirt, tie, sweater jacket on top. It's
there being
we're
another
making a comeback
spot
here.
that the line
Brian
was
Albert
fucked.
retained counsel, which is not a bad thing to do. It is crazy how attorneys will make people look bad for hiring attorneys. And I'm like, you are also an attorney. I don't understand.
Okay,
but
I don't know where the fuck it
it
is.
is
Whatever.
odd in the sense that Brian Albert cannot tell you anything about this attorney. I'm not talking privileged conversations. I'm talking Brian Albert does not recall, does not remember the date, even the month, even the season,
Lol.
even the year in which he hired this attorney.
Why? Is he just trying to play like, I don't recall, I don't recall, I don't recall?
That's so
yeah,
annoying.
but I think he's also trying to be like, if it's too early on, that looks suspicious.
Ah, I see. Like even those information that's like so harmless, he's like, I'm just not gonna say anything.
Yeah, I don't know. I don't recall.
I
Do you
don't
have
know.
amnesia? He also conveniently forgets that he talked to the prosecution even just a few
Oh,
hours
shit,
ago.
I just realized.
The direct
I need to fix
examination of
that.
Brian Albert is exactly what you expect. He testifies that he comes to the house, he lets Chloe out from
Forgot to clean
upstairs,
that up.
goes outside to use the restroom, hangs out a little bit in the kitchen, Chloe does, and then Brian sends Chloe back upstairs to go to sleep in their master bedroom. And then he hangs out with everyone, everybody leaves, he goes upstairs, knocks out, falls asleep and does not wake up until his sister-in-law, Jen McKay, bursts into the room. The cross-examination of Brian
Bursts
Albert just
into the
starts
room.
spicy. It sets
Interesting.
the tone for the entire cross. It's late. You're cozy in bed. You are scrolling through that same
Oh shit, it's
shopping cart that
1:30.
you've been eyeing all week
Okay,
long.
we're gonna
And
pause
you
at
got-
this ad break. I'm gonna finish up this little line art right now. Just clean this up really fast. Oops, wait, I fucked up. And then I will leave you for a little bit. I'll send you guys over to Teddy's stream. And then she will meet you. And we'll play some Hello Kitty. And hang out for a bit. Soul, that's still not your water, baby. Soul, that's not your water pose. Yeah, it's not your water, you silly girl. And that's all good.
is colored. Okay, I think we're good on the line art. That would be 70. There. Nice. Fun. Yay. All right, chat. Okay. Let me swap screens. Okay. So, Teddy Chan, she will be streaming from 2 o'clock until 4:30, and then I will be streaming from 5:30 until 9 o'clock on Twitch. And I will also be doing a secret stream later, probably, unless I am really tired, but I'm planning to do one. So yeah. A low effort secret stream, though, so yeah. I'm gonna go grab some food, and then set up Teddy stuff, so yeah. Her stream will start in a second. I have to, actually, let me just pull up her shit right now, because I have to swap the cameras around for her setup. Also, I started drawing the safe for work version of her model. So, yeah. So, that'll be coming soon for the update. It'll be the PNG model for a little bit until we get the chibi model done. And then once we get the chibi model prepped, then we can start working on the full model, and that'll be fun. So yeah. So yeah. I'll see you guys on Twitch later. Otherwise, enjoy Teddy's starting screen here. Give me like 5 minutes to set up her starting screen, and then you will have music during the break. All right. Okay. See you soon. Bye. Also, thank you. Thank you, mwah. Thank you. Thank you for subscribing. All right. Enjoy my outro. And I'll see you in a bit. Bye.